Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I'm Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. All right, guys. So I have tried to film this intro 3 times now. This is third time's a charm. Today's reading, we are going to be talking about why your past self is grateful for you. I'm in the middle of a 7-year cycle, and there is a Let's Talk video that comes out on November 12th, so please stay tuned for that. And it is all about 7-year cycles and the 7-year cycle that I'm in right now. As I have reflected back on this time, I've also reflected on the things that I have learned and the roles that I play in my life now compared to me 7 years ago. And in this journey, I have taken up my authorial sword. I did do a reading or a video that came out on the 31st about the pen is mightier than the sword. And that is so true. The pen is mightier than the sword a lot of the time. As an author, one of the things that we learn is to write what we know. What I knew back then is not what I know now, but I still know now what I knew back then, if that makes any sense. It's kind of contraindicative, but back then what I knew was fear. Back then what I knew was loneliness. Back then what I knew was manipulation, narcissism, and silence. I knew silence back then. Not in the way that I know silence now. I knew fear-based silence. You speak nothing and nothing will happen. It wasn't the best way to live my life. And I didn't always do right by myself. Over the course of the past 7 years, since 2015, I've been purging much of my life that came before then. I've been in the throes of medical illnesses. I've been in the throes of alcoholism. I've been in the throes of being addicted to cigarettes, to vaping. I've been in the throes of a burgeoning addiction to Ritalin because of a genetic disorder that made me process it too quickly. I am sitting here today and telling you all that over the past 7 years, I have struggled with addictions. I have struggled with self-harm. I have struggled with suicidal ideations. I have struggled with the remnants of a life that was destroyed when my marriage fell apart. I have learned how to stand back up. I have learned how to use my voice. I have learned how to embrace my gifts. I have learned how to embrace spirit. I have learned how to love myself. I have learned how to use my voice, and I have learned how to help others do the same. This reading is what I know. It is near, it is dear to my very heart, the very core, the very essence of my being. This reading is all about what your past self is grateful for. And I can tell you without any qualms or hesitation that I know without a doubt my past self is eternally grateful for literally everything I have done. The good, the bad, the ugly, because she is still alive in me. Because I am still alive today. And that is a powerful, powerful truth to hold on to. I am still alive. This world did not defeat me. I did not defeat myself. My ex-husband and his hatred and toxicity did not defeat me. The medical illnesses that I have suffered through have not defeated me, did not defeat me, will not defeat me. And no amount of negativity or hate coming at me could ever seek to defeat me. I have not been defeated. And that is what I know of myself and what my past self is grateful for. And I wanted to share that with you to help you understand the power of these messages, the potency, the truth, the reality. Whether or not your messages go all the way back to 7 years ago, whether they go back to your 15-year-old self, whether they go back to your 5-year-old self, We get messages from your past life self. All of these areas are open for this reading. It is any past version of who you are and why they are grateful for you today. All I ask of you all is that you step into an open and receptive state to feel and to hear these messages, because sometimes we go through the darkness and we forget what the light feels like. And I don't want you to forget what the light feels like. I want you to remember, always remember the light that you hold within yourself, because your light is powerful, it is meaningful, it is purposeful, and it is meant to be in this world. And I am here to help remind you of that today and every day that I come here. Our overall energy of this reading is being represented by the Jera, I believe, or Jera rune. It is the rune of eternal return. It's the harvest, the fruitful year, the zodiac cycles, the cyclical nature of life and of nature itself. It's about how we receive rewards for the right actions. This is about what we're being rewarded for the actions we have taken that are right for us. And for that rune to come out to talk about what we're dealing with, what we're going through, and what we're talking about, it's such a beautiful, beautiful thing. I'm going to take it out and show it to you guys, because this one, they're hand etched, so they're kind of hard to see. And it's almost like a greater than and less than sign put together. It's just, this one is, because it's hand carved, it's harder to see, but I prefer the hand carved ones to the printed ones personally, just because it feels more personal. It feels more meaningful. That's why I do everything that I do by hand for my creative projects, from making bracelets, case in point. All of these are handmade by me. Oh, and this one is a double. There we go. Or hand making the wands. I, take the sandpaper, all 4 levels of sandpaper. Actually, it's technically 8, because each stage has 2 levels. And I sand everything down until it's nice and smooth. I try to leave the most natural essence of the wood there. And then I clean it off and I stain it and I let it dry and I sand it down, give it a minute, stain it again, let it dry, sand it down, and then I use a polyurethane finish. And it's a very long process. It takes many days, if not weeks. But it's about the love and the passion that you put into it. This is talking about the actions that we take. All of the things that I do are actions that I choose to take, the work that I put in, and those things, the right actions taken, yield rewards for us in our lives. And this rune talks about what rewards there are for the actions that we've taken. I just realized it's on my windowsill. I had to take my wedding ring off as I was working on the wands. So this is going to be talking about what harvest we are getting from our past self. But our past self wants us to know why it is that there's so much gratitude coming in for us. And again, I want to remind you guys that throughout No Shade November, starting from my last reading on November 3rd through now and forward through the month of November, every reading that I do will be channeling Reiki energy. You have the option to accept the energy or not, but it will be flowing through in all the readings, because sometimes we just need that little extra boost of healing energy. And I am more than happy to channel it through as I speak these messages. All I ask is that if you do choose to accept the Reiki energy, please make sure that you drink a lot of water and ground yourself after these readings, because as this energy flows, the consciousness can go a lot higher than one of my other readings. So I just want you guys to be aware and be mindful of that, please. All right, so we have 4 piles today. We have pile 1 with card 29, Sulfurous and Sulfur. And with that, we have the Ingwaz rune. Move that up for you. And that is rune number 22. And then pile 2, we have the card 56 with Contra Naturam, against nature. And we have the rune Elhaz. And this is the 15th rune. And then pile 3, we have the card 36 with Pneuma and breath. And the rune Thurisaz, which is the rune number 3. And then we have pile 4, the final pile. And that is card number 71. Yes, I did do that just now. 71 with Conjunctio or conjunction and the rune Wunjo. And that is the rune number 8. So without further ado, we're going to jump into your piles. I'm going to give you guys some meditation time first to sit with the cards if you would like. If you know off the bat, because I get this energy of, yeah, I got it, I know which one. You can absolutely skip the meditation if you're already tapped in and you know which one you're being called to. And I will see you at your piles. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the first card in crystal, you chose the card Sulfurous and Sulfur, as well as the crystal Ingwaz. So the first thing I wanted to note was each one of the runes has a numerical assignment. And I am using Thorisaz's Big Book of Runes in Rune Magic as my reference point. I'll show this to you guys because if you guys want to work with the runes, this book will change your life on the Elder Futhark runes. It is so involved. It's amazing. But be that as it may, we got some things we need to talk about. So we're going to do the simple stuff first. You guys have the card number 29, which reduces to 11, as well as the rune that is 22. You have 11 and 22. This is a progression of master numbers. This is mastering the self and then mastering building your life. And that is so important. Now, the Sulfur card is one of the 3 key components that alchemists use, it's sulfur, salt, and mercury that constitute the three, I think it's the prima facie, something like that. That sounds legal, never mind. Actually, I'm going to pull it out just because this is such an involved deck. And because I feel like it. It's called the three primes. So, I mean, it's the tria prima. Prima facie is definitely a legal term. But that may be significant here. Something with the legal system may be significant here. And if it's something with the legal system, it definitely feels present, not past. So these talk about stasis. Both of these cards talk about change, transformation. This sulfur is correlated with the soul, salt with the body, mercury with the mind. It's the mind, the body, and the soul's connection. And this is, we all are aware of this connection, but this is literally talking about the seed within your soul. It's about transforming the pains of your entire life into deep-seated soul work. And sulfur talks about the and or concept. Or the both and concept, or and both concept. It's like you can either be or, you can be this or that, you can be this and that, or you can be both. It's this notion that we try and separate, we try and individualize, we try and keep things apart. Now, the Ingwaz actually literally talks about how this is the seed. This is the seed of your being. This is a place where you come into yourself. And with the Ingwaz rune, you have to use birch or burkano to break yourself free. But this also talks about being the seed of the Jera stone that we have been working with collectively. And I actually put it back in my here. It's the seed of this. And so if you look at the way that this breaks open, separates these two that are here, and now we go into the natural cycles. So you have to go into a state of stasis in order for change to occur. And this is something that has been a recurring theme, this stasis and change. This is hanged man energy. This is transformational energy. This is hanged man to the death card energy, actually, where we're at right now with your energy. But we're taking a look at why your past self is grateful for you. This is just giving us kind of the energy of where you're at right now. And what I did, and I didn't realize that I did this, but, well, I mean, I realized I did like the physical aspect of it. So you guys, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I have this sinus infection. My third eye is draining. I'm doing like massive levels of emotional purging. And really, really like more firmly coming into my power, because I've just been like, I'm taking no prisoners. I'm taking no shit. This is my time kind of thing. And I hope to encourage you all to do this and stand in your own power. But because I have all this sinus stuff, I have been making myself some more teas. And this time I made a combination of Egyptian licorice, Slim Life tea, which has like blueberry, and then I have a dandelion root in here. And this time I used, it's like a breath release or a breathe easier. And so it's eucalyptus and green tea, I believe. But the point here is I literally am combining 4 different teas to make it an extra strong cup of tea. And I always drink all my teas plain, but these are both yogi teas and traditional medicinal teas. But there are 4 tea bags in here, 4 piles. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of mix it up and grab the one that's calling to me. So this one. So your message that you need to help soothe your mind, or rather for you to soothe your soul, is the principal ingredient of life is love. And that honestly doesn't surprise me. So if you guys can see, you have this letter here. And I'm going to open this up and I'm going to tell you guys before I open it up, because I did automatic channel it. I set an intention to get a message from your past self. This is not what I expected at all. And I get the sense that you guys are that way. And I know, trust me, I know we're like almost 7 minutes in and I feel like I'm just kind of pinging all over the place and not really getting to anything important. And that's something too. So as I was preparing to come in and start filming, I am burning dragon's blood in my backflow cone incense burner, and the backflow isn't working quite properly, but there was already a dragon's blood in there, and apparently the bottom was still hot. When I emptied the prior cone, the bottom was still hot, and I put it into my garbage can. And in my garbage can were the pieces of cheesecloth from making wands today. So it had like extremely flammable stuff. Plus it had plastic and I could see the embers in there. And I was like, oh crap, I'm going to like light my room on fire. So I took my water bottle and just dumped it on there. But it was one of those like super calm things. It just was kind of like, oh, this is happening. And I went and did that. But when I left my room, I noticed, it was the first time that I noticed that my glasses were dirty, because I walked out and the whole main floor of my house looked really hazy. And I was like, oh, I really need to clean my glasses, because I knew that the smoke from my incense and the smoke from my saging was just relegated to my office space, because I closed the door and make sure that that's air locked. And then, yeah. So what I'm getting from that is you guys may be my Murphy's Law pile, but I get this sense that you're shifting out of Murphy's Law, where you're no longer going like, oh my God, why is this happening to me? Oh my gosh, could something just go right? You're no longer doing this. You're just learning how to flow with whatever comes up and be like, okay, it was just an oversight on my part. Okay, it was just this. Okay, it was just that. Like, you're no longer blaming some sort of outside force for just like these random moments, because you're realizing that every time you do that, you actually give the outside force power to have control and exert any kind of pressure on your outside moments. And that is a huge, huge transition. That's you breaking out of this stasis point, is realizing that what you feed into is what has power. So if you feed into the negativity, if you feed into this belief in Murphy's Law, then Murphy's Law takes control. It takes power. If you feed into strife and stress and struggle and strain, that's what you get. But if you feed into love, like your message said, the principal ingredient in life is love. So if you feed into that, that's what you get. And you know what? Because we had that for you guys, I don't want any repeating messages. So I'm going to actually take this here and we'll put it on sulfur, because this is literally saying that the principal ingredient of life is love. It feels like this is what your soul has been needing. So we're going to open with this letter. I was going to close with it, but this feels like we need to open with it before we talk about your past self. And this is going to be a really long reading, so buckle up, guys. So it says, Dear future me / present you. Right now, this letter feels stupid, to be honest. A seed of a soul. Am I dreaming? Either way, I guess what I should focus on is why I'm going to be grateful for myself in 10 years. If I make it the whole 10 without opening this. I kind of am more Marshall than Lily. And if you don't know that reference, I'll explain it after the letter. I'm getting off topic, which doesn't surprise me truly. I don't want to talk about myself because right now myself kind of sucks. I know I could be doing better, but I've been so scared to step out of the way things have always been. Life has been so damn hard for so long, I can't really tell if trying to be grateful for some future self is healthy or crazy making thoughts. Maybe it will help me to simply make a list, if anything. I might find hope. Number 1, I am grateful I finally moved out and moved on with my life. Number 2, I am grateful I chose not to go to college, no matter how disappointed my parents are/were. Number 3, I am grateful I learned to love myself when no one else could. Number 4, I am grateful I gave myself a chance to thrive in life. Since 4 is my favorite number, I'm calling it. Plus, I don't want to sit here and cry all night. I guess I just hope this is really how I feel in 10 years' time. I hope I feel it sooner than that. Love, me. Now, some of you may or may not resonate with 4 being your favorite number, but I was actually seeing the 4 of Pentacles and the Emperor card, which in all the pre-shuffles, I actually saw a lot of 4 energy. I saw the 4 of Swords. I saw the 4 of Pentacles. I saw the Emperor card. So 4 is a big prominent number for you guys as well. But with this letter, first of all, the Marshall and Lily reference, that's from How I Met Your Mother. And I put that in there because I literally saw the visual of that episode. So Marshall and Lily are 2 characters in the show, and they get married. And in that, when they get married, they have these death folders and they have to write letters to each other. And so when they write letters to each other, Marshall actually goes and reads Lily's letter and finds out there's nothing like really emotional about it. So he gets really upset, and she gets upset with him for reading the letter and everything like that. And it's this big deal about how he reads the letters early. And it struck me as really funny because it was like your past self was definitely impatient. It was like, if I'm going to be this dumb and write something this dumb, then I'm going to open it whenever I want to. Nobody's going to tell me what to do. And it's actually that mindset, that energy that you were in back then that I'm feeling was what got you through. Now, this to me is an energy that has felt like there's no one there for me. There's no one who has my back. I'm the only person that can do this, and I have to. And it's that I have to energy that really makes all the difference. So I'm going to use the Hermetic Tarot to get an idea of how your past self viewed you, essentially, like not the you that you are now, but essentially it's, what did you used to believe about yourself in the past? Because I want to see from this one to the next one how things have changed. Okay, so we have the Queen of Cups, Queen of the Throne of Waters. And this is Cancer and Gemini energy on this one. We got a lot of Cancer and Gemini energy coming through. Oh, here we go. We have the Universe, which is also known as the World card. And that is Saturn energy. And it says the Great One of the Night of Time. Oh, yeah, I'm definitely getting it. And then Knight of Cups. And we have Aquarius and Pisces. And it says Lord of Waves and Water. And I'm going to get the shadow energy that is contributing to this mindset because I'm already getting it. It's the Three of Pentacles. Lord of Material Work. And then we've got Capricorn and Mars here. And this one has Taurus in the North Node. Okay. So essentially what I'm getting here is this Three of Pentacles. Your past self saw you as going through a death. It's like a death of the self, a death of hopes, a death of dreams, a death of everything that you ever wanted in life because everybody was telling you what you needed. And it wasn't like people telling you what you needed to hear. It wasn't like hard truths. Like if you've followed my channel for a while, you know that I'm the hard truth person. But that's not what I'm getting here. It's literally like you thought your emotions were dying. You thought that your gifts were dying. Your intuition was dying because everybody was telling you that you needed to buckle down and go out into the real world. And all you wanted to do was really like dive into the truth of who you are. Like I feel such a beautiful creative energy from you, but it's like you were told you can't do that. You have to do a 9 to 5. I'm going to sneeze. Oh my gosh, I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. Sorry about that. That sneezing is one of those high energy things. But it's kind of like someone told you that you were being childish for the things that you wanted. And I'm being brought back to that note about not going to college. Some of you may have found that you actually did go to college and you got your degree and now you're not using your degree. And so you kind of feel like this is bleeding into the way that you feel about yourself right now and things that are unresolved. And with that, we're going to get some clarifier cards. All right. Spirit, can we see how their energy is now with regard to the Queen of Cups? Thank you. I didn't even have to say it, Justice. You're being rebalanced emotionally. Universe, thank you. Ace of Pentacles. Oh, this is great, you guys. I love this. And then the Knight of Cups. Can we get a little bit less? Thank you. 8 of Cups. And on the back, we have the 7 of Cups. Okay. The 7 of Cups is my trust your choices. It's do or do not, but it's trusting your choices. So what I'm getting here, and I'm just going to shift these up so that we have some more room. For sure, what I see is like everybody kind of cornered you. They pushed you. They told you that you had to do this and you had to do that. You were this Queen of Cups, like your intuition was on point, but they sent you on this journey. It's like you had no control. I don't know if you came from, you may have come from a very prominent family where there are certain expectations of you. I'm actually getting like, this is a really weird vibe because I honestly have no idea about the family, but I'm getting like the Kardashian vibe where there's like this expectation of a persona. There's this expectation of something. I'm getting like the Trump family, things like that. But it doesn't mean that you are in one of those high power families or anything like that. I just get this sense that you were in a family where you were just expected of, or this was expected of you. And so you had to really follow some sort of party line or some sort of family line. And it made you feel so childish. It made you like feel rash and youthful and as though you just were going to lash out because not everything in life is about money. Like I'm literally hearing like a 15-year-old in my head. And it sounds like a 15-year-old male going, not everything in life is about money, Mom. Like not everything in life. Like I don't want to live the same life that you live. I don't want to make the same decisions that you made. I want to do my thing. I want to do my way. And that's that Mars energy really strongly that I'm feeling here. This may reflect some sort of conversation or argument that you had. But what I'm seeing here is you really felt as though there was no justification to your feelings. This is definitely your energy here. This is the energy that you were trying for. And this is the energy that you found yourself in. And I just needed to get the separation from them because it really is like it. Okay, so this pile, like your messages are coming in so interestingly. So there's the commercials for Twix candy bars and they like break them and you can see all the cookies break. But in some of them, they break them and then the caramel pulls off. So you guys are kind of like that Twix bar that got broken in half, but the caramel still got stuck. And you want to be the Kit Kat bar. You want to be the Kit Kat bar where it just breaks off. You're trying to break yourself off from something here. You're trying to get this walk away energy and you are. But the walk away energy that you're getting is not about your past choices. It's about the lack of trust that you had in yourself when you were younger and how you're trying to now learn how to have trust in yourself because it is time for you to start building material wealth. And you can't build material wealth until you rebalance this internal struggle inside yourself that material wealth is evil. And that's because of the way that everything just kind of panned out with your family. Something that I talk about a lot is the best way to forgiveness is to understand that we are at the mercy of the ways that we were raised. You either learn what to do or what not to do. And our parents, either learned what to do or what not to do. And their parents either learned what to do or what not to do. And we are all subject to a long line of these decisions. And if we see that the decisions aren't suitable for us, that's when these ancestral and generational patterns and inheritances really get broken. That's when these cycles and these chains get broken, because we see this is not what I want to do. Now, I got to tell you guys, this is something that I am so familiar with, because the way that I was raised is not how I raise my children. I am the exact opposite. And I've actually had a lot of conversations with my own mom about this, where she has talked to me and said, I don't know how you became the mom that you are today, because I never taught you that. I never did this for you. Things like that. And she doesn't need to say that to me. I realize these things. I realize that the decisions I've made and the things that I've faced and the ways in which I parent are completely different. But even if this isn't about you and being a parent, there is this energy of the decisions made in your life versus the decisions that your parents made, and realizing that you decide for your life and you're an adult now, which please, for the love of God, if you're not an adult, if you are under 18, this is not the reading for you, sweetheart. You can check out like Cooper's reading. That would be a good one. But you're an adult now. And sometimes that's what we need to hear. You're an adult. Your decisions are your own. Your parents can't swoop in and fix it. And they might be able to. They might not. But it doesn't mean that it's an unjustified thing. This means that it's time for you to stand up and rebalance your own life and rebalance your own energy. The universe is literally coming and saying, close this cycle down. Stop this cycle. You know what to do because you learned what to do. You learned what not to do. So close this cycle down and walk away from this youthful, rash energy and trust your choices, because your choices are what are bringing you into your harmony with your energy. And you know what? Like this is actually pretty beautiful. So let's see how this change of situation is making your younger self feel. Now that I'm done channeling with these cards, we can move them back to, like you guys, I don't know how many of you guys are new, because this is a quite new energy to me. But I'm a bit of a perfectionist with these things. So we have, oh my God, seriously, morality and no thingness here for the Queen of Cups and the Justice card. So your past self is saying, thank you so much for really standing your ground, for understanding that this world is built on what it's built on, but you don't have to fall victim to the same things that came before. You can choose to step into a state of more openness. This no-thingness is one of my favorite cards. And it is the card 5 in the Major Arcana. This is the Osho Zen tarot deck. So the cards really work differently. But even this morality is, I believe, the King or the Knight of Swords or the mind, the clouds. This is literally saying, like, you stuck to your guns. You stuck to your intuition instead of all of the mind control, all of the mindsets. But this one lingering piece is this fear, this worry, this anxiety, this doubt. More than anything, it's doubt. It's like, am I making the right decisions? Have I made the right decisions? You may not speak to your parents often. You may not speak to your parents at all. You may question whether that was the right choice. But what I'm seeing here is your past self is saying, thank you so much for taking control of what was right for you to do, regardless of what came before. It may have left you feeling like you were in a void space. And we have that here with the stasis part. But this no-thingness is literally realizing that when we go into this space, all we have is creation. We have the creation that we desire. And so your past self is really, really, really grateful for you. Like, I can't even tell you. And it's about you standing your ground. That takes such strength, such bravery to just stand your ground and say, this is what is right for me. And I don't care what came before because I have to do what's right for me. And that's something that is it's so hard to do. So now it's saying, now your past self is your past self is calling you internally to really discover your inner child again, to discover all the pieces of you that you were when you were in this Queen of Cups and felt like your family and your life just kind of pushed you into a place that you didn't want to be, so that you can start really participating in life again. Oh, shoot. Okay. Yeah, because we have this understanding here. So what I'm seeing here is the depths of the gratitude really sits in this energy of thank you. Thank you for bringing emotionality back into your life. Thank you for opening your heart again. Thank you for not going cold. Thank you for finding hope. Thank you for loving yourself. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for forgiving me for the choices that I made when I was afraid. But thank you so much. Like, there's so much coming through now. And it's like, when I first tapped into your past self, I was so shook because I expected that letter to be like your past self, like knowing where you're at now. And it just didn't come through that way. And I understand why now. And it's because you needed to be able to see the huge stark contrast between where you were, and this may be I'm getting 10 to 15 years ago, where you were 10 to 15 years ago and where you are now. This stark contrast, so that you can really, really revel in this thankfulness, in this gratitude, this deep, soul deep gratitude, because it's time for you to start participating in life, because you've learned to understand both the value of the emotional realms as well as the value of the physical realms. And that means you're ready to balance those out. You're ready to participate in life in a whole way, where you literally move from what is right for you. So we have a change in the wind. Oh, that's beautiful. Look, and I have 12, which I told you I was getting Hanged Man energy. That is that Hanged Man number, but that is that Hanged Man energy with the Ingwaz. You're breaking free of that. There is this change in the wind coming, and that feeds right into adventure. And then we have the Thinker and the Fates both flew out. And on the back, we have Clean It Up. So if you look, all of these cards have the same color scheme. There is this almost drabness to them that is starting to clear up. And especially when we get to Fates and the Thinker, you guys may be drawn to astrology. If you aren't, this may be a sign for you to learn about the fixed stars and their placements within your natal chart, especially is what I'm getting because of all the stars here. But again, I was picking up like Kardashian vibes and Trump vibes. It may be that you want to do something in Hollywood, do something famous. Maybe you are meant to be a star and the fates are literally telling you, like, you can sit and think on this, or you can start getting creative. So let's get some final messages from your past self. What I'm literally seeing, things are changing. Like the way that you think about yourself, the way that you move in the world, when you change that thought pattern, that's when you step into your fate, your destiny. And we did have Taurus in the North Node on the Universe card, and that's literally where Taurus and the North Node are, right? Like the North Node is in Taurus right now. So let's see. We have on the back of the deck, we have Rainbow. The most difficult part of the situation is over. You have made it to the other side of this. You have literally moved your soul through just about every imaginable thing that you could. And now you're coming into this amazing place. So we have February. You know what? I hate when I do that. I was picking up 1s, 2s, and 9s. And I was like, gosh, I feel February energy. And then I forgot to mention it. But February may be a very significant month for you. I'm actually getting that February of 2022 was significant because that would be right directly after the nodes shifted into Taurus. The North node shifted into Taurus. And I picked this energy up with another reading that I did. So it may be that has changed a lot. So February, we've got fan. The letter F might be significant. That's really weird. I've never gotten letters as messages. A, B, C, D, E, F. So F correlates to the number 6. That's the Lovers card. And this does say romance, celebration, and party. Yeah, and then we've got angel, spiritual guidance and protection from harm. Whatever it is that you are looking at doing or that you have done or something, it may be that you are going to have these changes in February. Something may have happened around Valentine's Day. Alternately, you know, this coming February of 2023, things might very well change dramatically for you. I'm going to leave those as is because I feel like those are messages that are meant to be very personal for you. But what I'm going to do now, because I got these fun things at Barnes & Noble, Eliza picked them out for me to use in my channel. So we're going to roll some mindfulness dice. And they do come with a guidebook here that I'm going to use just for the sake that, you know, I want to be able to see. So there are these fun little blocks. So we have, okay, cultivate courage, sun salutation, open up, counting breath, embrace change. Look at this, and a change in the wind, and body scan. Okay, let's see. Cultivate courage says, I am brave. As you go about your day, repeat this mantra to gain strength and boldness. Trust that you have the strength to conquer your fears and face the unknown. Draw on your innate power to cultivate a solid and stable foundation, and with this support, take the leap. This is the thing. When you stand up to how things have always been, when you move from that state where you say, I am going to do this, this is what I need to do, you have to have so much courage. And I'm seeing that you did. You had that courage. You really stepped out of all of the boxes and all of the expectations, and you did exactly what was right for you. Now we're going to move on to body scan. And I have to tell you that you may be harboring some of this fear and anxiety in your body. So this is going to help you really find it. So it says body scan, lying down, begin by noticing where your body makes contact with the earth. As you inhale, bring your attention to each part of your body, starting with your feet. Notice what thoughts and sensations arise. Continue this investigation, working your way up your body and pausing to bring awareness to different areas until reaching the crown of your head. When you do a body scan, make a note of places that it feels like energy is trapped. So it could feel like a tension. It could feel like it could almost feel like you're being, like the air isn't moving fully or your blood isn't moving. It's like something's moving slowly. And just kind of make notes of that. Make notes of what body parts, and then do like a Google search for what chakras, because then it'll help you open that energy back up and help you break free and break out and get into your next cycle. So we have sun salutation. This one is actually a yoga pose, and it says standing with your arms at your side, inhale and sweep your hands above your head. Exhale, bending forward at the hips to touch your hands to the earth, bending your knees if necessary. Inhale, lifting your torso until your back is flat like a tabletop, resting your hands on your knees. Exhaling, lower back to the ground. And then it says to keep doing this for 4 times. Basically, what I'm going to tell you guys with that is maybe Google sun salutation and watch a video or something on it. Counting breath actually talks about cultivating concentration through counting. So you inhale, and this is something that they do with anxiety as well. It's a 4-7-8. So you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 7 seconds, and you exhale for 8 seconds. So you do that and you count your breath. You count the time in which you're breathing, because that takes your focus off of everything else, and especially off of the monkey mindset. And it brings it right back to your body, right back to your dreams or to your breath, not your dreams. Sorry, guys. Right back to your breath. And when you do that, it helps you really get deep into who you are. So Embrace Change says change is an inevitable part of life. When you resist change, you suffer. Consider how you've handled change in the past. How can you learn from those experiences and open yourself up to the reality that everything changes? How can you mindfully show up in the present rather than fixating on the future? And that to me is where you're at. And we're going to close up. We're going to close up on Open Up, and then we're going to talk about those last two, because these really feel, I'm going to move the active versus the passive ones here. So Open Up says, when was the last time you opened yourself up to something new? Perhaps there's something you've wanted to do, big or small, but you find excuses not to try. Today, make it a priority to commit to trying new things. When we try new things, we exercise our minds, opening them up to sensations and experiences. Are you capable? Absolutely. Are you nervous? Know that you can trust yourself. Are you stuck? Now is the time to take the leap. All right. So you guys are in this state of, it's time for you to really return to center. It's time to get in touch with your body. Your body is going to be your best intuition guide. It's going to tell you what you need. It's going to tell you where to go. But what I'm seeing is literally you have surpassed, you have made it beyond the hardest part. The hardest part was 10, 15 years ago when you said no to what you said no to. Now is the time for you to allow yourself to bring in more love into your life. This could be romantic love, but it could be friendships. It could just be loving yourself. Remember that part, that piece of gratitude that your past self had. I am grateful that I learned to love myself. Now that you love yourself, now it's time to give yourself courage. Now it's time to give yourself all of the motivation and the inspiration that you have always needed and always wanted from other people. You have to give that to yourself first and foremost. And now is the time for you to do that. And that's what I'm seeing really strongly that you are being called to do from your past self. Like, it's time for you to break yourself free of this worry that you don't have the experience because you didn't do X, Y, and Z, and break yourself free of the ways in which other people's mindsets and mentalities really blustered through your mind. You are free from that now. You are free. You are free. You are free. You are free. I could continue saying that because it feels like you need to hear it, but I feel like you heard what you needed to hear. Okay, pile one, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connections between our energies. Spirit, thank you so much for the inspiration for this reading, as well as for bringing in all the people who are needing this message at any given point in time when they need this message, so that they may find more gratitude in their life for themselves and understand that every piece of themselves is grateful for who they are. I also want to say thank you so much to the past self of pile one for coming through, for having the courage to stand up and be this bold, be this blunt, and be this just honest. It was very refreshing, and I am honored to have brought these messages forth. All right, if this reading resonated, pile one, I want to say please go ahead and like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming readings. Down in the comment section below, let other pile ones know that they are not alone, that you are not alone, and that you're taking the leap of faith. Put some sort of emoji, like a fan emoji or a rainbow emoji. I would love to see that. Down in the description box, you guys can find links to donate to my channel, links to book a personal reading with me, as well as links to my author page. Don't forget that Mercury is now, I'm in Mercury retrograde for next year. Don't forget that Mars is in retrograde now, and we are about 5 days into the retrograde by the time this comes out. If you want to work with the energies instead of against them, especially with Mars being part of your shadow energy, this would really, really, truly help you. And I think it is a great idea for you guys to check it out. It is available on Amazon, link in the description box. All right. I love you guys. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. It is Hello, Pile 2. If you chose the second card and the second runestone, the card Contra Naturam, against nature, and the Elhaz or Elk rune, this is the message about why your past self is grateful for you. So I had to start this off with letting you guys know it is like 2:00 in the morning, my time. I woke up and I had done this thing for pile 1, and then I decided I was going to do it for all the piles where I was going to write a letter from your past self. I was going to do some automatic writing and channel a letter from your past self. And pile 1's letter flowed really well. It was very unexpected. But when I started getting ready for your pile, it was like there was no letter there. And so I sat and I was like, okay, what do I need to do, Spirit? What do I need to do? And Spirit's like, rest on it. So I started resting on it. And sorry, guys. As I was resting, I was sleeping, and that is usually when surrender comes for me the easiest, when I stop trying to push things to happen and I just allow them to. And with your pile in particular, this speaks to your cards. With the Contra Naturam and against nature, and the Elk or Elhaz rune, or Algiz as well, this very much talks about exactly that. It's about control, willfulness, and willpower. It's about knowing the right use of your willpower so that you're not going against the natural order and the natural nature of yourself and your cycles and your divine protection and your divine guidance. And Elk is the runestone of guidance, or protection as well. But it also talks about your higher self. So this is about you feeling controlled by your higher self, and at the same time, you no longer being willing to try to control your higher self, if that makes sense. I hope it does. But the thing that needed to happen was the situation needed to mirror what was going on in my own journey before I could understand and translate the energy. So in my journey, I have found in the past that I went through a really strong phase of feeling as though I was too controlling. It wasn't that I was out of control. It was that I was too controlling, because I have always hated that feeling of being out of control, because I used to be abused and controlled by narcissists on and off throughout my entire life, like for the first 28 years of my life. And I never realized how much my life had been controlled until I was outside of it. And once I was outside of it, then I noticed how many things that I had developed, how many personality traits, how many physical traits or physical reactions and mental behaviors and things like that I had developed in response to these things. I had developed certain aspects. I used to have like a plethora of DVDs before I got rid of all of them, because everything is streaming these days. So I used to have all these DVDs, like stacks and stacks of DVDs, because I literally lived my life through TV and movies and books. But my DVDs had to be alphabetized. Like had to. It would drive me nuts if they weren't. And it was just about a small sense of control in an environment where I felt as though I had no control. That's when I started doing it. We can feel like we need to control or micromanage our higher self when our higher self is coming forth and telling us something. But it's like putting a round peg in a square hole. The round peg might go into the square hole if it's a small enough peg, but it's never going to fit quite right. And so if you try to control the nature of certain things, it actually leaves you with less protection than what you would think it would be. Because if you think about putting a round peg in this square hole right here. I'm sorry if you guys can hear Winifred just like purring up a storm. She is outrageously loud right now. But if you think about it, if you put a round peg in this hole, there's going to be gaps on each side, which means that you're going to feel as though you are open to being attacked, or as though you don't have the protection that you actually genuinely have. And it's because you're trying to force something into an area that it just isn't right for. It doesn't mean that you're doing something wrong. It doesn't mean that what you're doing is the wrong thing. It just means that it's not the right. This is past tense. I'm sorry. I literally just got slammed in the face with, you need to past tenses. It doesn't mean that you were doing anything wrong. It doesn't mean that you were in the wrong place. I actually get the sense that you were doing exactly what you were meant to be doing in the place you were meant to be doing it, and coming up against what felt like obstacles and barriers. And that happens when it's the wrong timing. And that's just like the painful, brutal truth. It comes when it's the wrong timing. But I feel like that's something you've actually ameliorated. That's something that you've healed yourself. And I know, guys, I use ameliorated all the time. I don't know why. I never used to until I started doing this channel. But this is something that you have come to terms with, in the sense of like, okay, yes, I may have been doing all the right things in all the right places, and it just wasn't the right time. But what do I do? And that's kind of an energy that I'm still getting off of you with these two, is what do I do? Because it does make you feel unprotected at times. Because how can this be going so great and then seemingly fall apart and completely, like, over and over and over, go through that cycle? How can I break out without going against what is right to me? And that's a question I keep feeling. So on that note, I went and I made tea earlier, and I'm still sipping on this tea, and it's been hours and hours, but I'm not like wasteful. Plus it's got stuff for my throat. And if you guys can hear, I'm pretty stuffed up still. I've been really overusing my throat chakra. So this is my last video that I'm filming for the next several days, so that I can give my throat chakra some time to recover, and some hot tea, and just allow my throat chakra to be flooded out of me through typing instead of talking, so that I can get past this huge, huge cleanse that I'm doing. But that being said, I did make myself some tea, and with these came these little notes, and I'm going to take these off. And I think what I'm going to do from now on is I'm just going to take these off when I'm done making and drinking my tea. And I'm just going to collect them, and we'll have little tea bag messages. That sounds so dirty. God. I'm sorry. So let's find your message. All right. We've got little one. I'm going to take it off. And this is a quote by Carl Wilson Baker, and I have no idea who that is, but it says, "Today I have grown taller from walking with the trees." Let me see that. Maybe. It's not going to want to, is it? This camera is so finicky. Okay. Well, it says, "Today I have grown taller from walking with the trees." So we're going to save that. I'll just put it in my tray here. I've got a Hamsa tray here with all my protection stones and whatnot. So I did get your letter, and we're going to start with the letter and then we'll pull the cards. And in case you guys are wondering, it is going to be one of those longer messages. I wanted to be really thorough and allow you guys to really, really sink into this deep sense of gratitude that I felt when I started preparing for these readings. So this is your letter. Dear future me, present you. You did it. I knew you/I were strong enough to get out of our own way. Have you ever tried to write one of these letters? The whole tense concern with the words is totally for the birds. I'm just going to talk to you like a friend, and, well, you are a friend. No one else in the family gets you. That doesn't matter. You don't let it matter. You found the missing link, and I know you did because I'm the one who brought it to you. I know you thought it was our higher self, but I had to be the one to show you the truth. It was always about the protection already there, and the one no one realized. Yeah. Okay. It was about trust versus control, and it was about being different. You're the Salvador Dali of the family, not the damn black sheep. You climb mountains they can't imagine, and it was meant to be you who broke free. Let me tell you something. That guilt you felt for walking away all those years ago, you don't need it. I have the final key to unlocking it, and I trust you/me enough to know this is where we come together, and my part of our story ends. You were meant to love them as yourself, to reawaken the blessing of spirit connection and full, open acceptance. You were meant to be the one to overcome the judgment through love, truth, and forgiveness. Thank you. Love me. Okay, so first of all, your past self reminds me a little bit of me now, mostly for the sake of, I kind of tempered that letter because there was a lot of like smartass energy for it. And I wanted these to be like really true blue, like heart-centered messages. And not that sarcasm isn't heart-centered at times, but sometimes I have the feeling that you've been taught this. Sometimes it's not necessary. And I had to learn that the hard way too. So I want to see, we're going to start off with the Hermetic Tarot. And this was actually my first ever tarot deck. It was gifted to me. This is going to be really strange. I don't know why Spirit's like, no, tell them the truth. Well, the truth is this was gifted to me by my husband, David's ex-girlfriend. And she and I became friends. She was practicing witch and I was starting to learn, and she recognized something within me and brought me this tarot deck. And it sat unopened in a drawer because I was afraid of tarot, because I had gone through something as a kid where I brought home Titania's fortune cards, and my mom believed that I was bringing in the devil. And so I was afraid of them. I've been exorcised twice by my church because of my sinful nature with witchcraft and studying the occult. And so I was terrified. So I remember I had visions. Excuse me. I was having visions in November of 2019, and they were sleep paralysis visions, but they didn't feel like my past sleep paralysis visions. It felt like something different. And it was just that my body was locked down, and what it was warnings. It was like gypsy warnings from a past life gift that I had. And I pulled these out to try and understand them. And ever since, like the call to divination has been there. It just never went away. And that really solidified me coming here. So it's funny how you never really think about the things that happen that seemed so minor or that felt so huge at the time, but they were even bigger than what you felt they were. Like for me, having that vision felt like the biggest deal in all the land. Like it was like the biggest thing in my life. And it was, but it was so much bigger than just that moment, because this has all become so much bigger than that. It literally radically transformed. Sorry, I had the hiccups. It literally radically transformed my life. Thank you. So we've got the universe, which is also the world card. And this is Saturn as well as Taurus in the North Node. And it says the Great One of the Night of Time. And the North Node is currently in Taurus. These two wanted to come out. So we're starting that off with that. And these are the messages about your past situation that has led you here. And then we've got the star. And that is, we've got Aquarius energy, but we've got, with the star, we have all of the planets and in Aquarius. So that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeah, we've got them all. And it says the daughter of the firmament. And then we have the Eight of Pentacles. This is Scorpio energy. No, sorry. Virgo energy. The sun in Virgo, to be specific. And the back of the deck, so what we need to know about the situation, is the King of Swords. Okay, and we've got Capricorn, Aquarius energy. You know what? We talked about keys, remember? Look at what's in their hands. They've got little keys in their hands. And pentacles on their third eye. This is about you seeing something in the earthly realm. You see something for the earthly realm. But this is the Prince of the Chariot of the Winds. These cards have a whole different energy. But what I'm seeing here is your past self wants to talk about a time frame in which you were coming to a time in which you felt like you were giving stuff up. You were giving up your hopes. You were giving up your dreams. You were giving up things that were natural to you because it was the practical step. It was the reasonable step. It was what you felt you had to do. This was the control thing. And it wasn't, not all of it was stuff that you were meant to, quote unquote, give up. And it was during that time that you were going against your own nature, because it was, you guys are connected to one of my other readings where I talk about how you don't have to always self-sacrifice in order to receive. This is about you learning that there were certain things that you had to walk away from because it was in your contract, and also learning that there are certain things that you weren't ever meant to walk away from. With the Sun in Virgo and this Eight of Pentacles, because this, when I look at the Universe card and the Star card, what I get really strongly from this was that you were closing down a cycle of hopes and dreams that you thought were lost. And with it being the Lord of Prudence, it's literally because there was something in your brain. It's like having, you know how they're like, well, I just put a bug in their ear. And I'm actually seeing it in like a physical representation in my third eye. And I don't think that somebody just actually like stuck like a cockroach in your ear, but that's kind of what it feels like. Somebody said something to you a long time ago, well prior to the situation where you felt like you were walking away from all your hopes and dreams. And what they said to you was that you had to behave a certain way when it comes to your finances, when it comes to building certain things. It created a mental perfectionist complex. And this means that every single time that you create, what you struggle the most with is whether your creation is ready to be out in the world. you want to perfect, you want to simplify, or you want to make it pretty. You don't want to create unless you have all of the best gear, all of the best this, all of the best that, because you're afraid of it not being exactly perfect. You are incredibly driven, but in your mind, and forgive me, I'm not trying to be I'm not trying to be politically incorrect. But when I look at this King of Swords and I see that he's sitting on a chariot, to me, it looks like he's in a wheelchair. So it's like you have a mindset handicap that is keeping you in this state that you have to be very prudent. You have to be very diligent. You have to be very perfect on your game, on your mark all the time. And I'm telling you guys, I have the feeling that that's why I'm here filming this in the state that I am, where I'm coughing and I've got a sore throat and I'm all stuffed up, is because it's not about everything being exactly right. It's about you having the right words, you having the right vision, you having the right gifts, and you're the one that has it. And this mental handicap that you hold on to, this mental hindrance that you hold on to, is the one that tells you that you don't have feet to walk on, that you need some sort of vehicle that is just for outer show in order to be seen as perfect, but you were never meant to be perfect. That's the best thing about us. I mean, I talk about this on my channel a lot, about how we are perfectly imperfect. So this is telling me a lot about this feeling of a destined point in your time, in your life. And this may be something that you came into recently. Sorry guys, I've been picking that energy up a lot with Taurus and the eclipse, not the eclipse, but Taurus and the lunar node. However, the eclipse in Taurus in the spring, as well as the one that will be popping up about 3 days from this reading going live, those eclipse patterns may have actually been what put you into this state. So this may be new energy for you that you're still trying to become accustomed to. And your past self really wants to talk about this point here, this transition point. So this could have either been January of 2022, April of 2022, and now you can feel it building through now. Or you just naturally have your North Node in Taurus, or it could have something to do with Uranus being in Taurus, because I know when Uranus was discovered, his North Node was in Taurus. And so for me, there's that energy with it too. And I do talk about that in my Uranus retrograde guidebook, which is available on Amazon if you want to get it. Links are in the description box. But this is also telling me a lot about the transit of Saturn through Aquarius started in 2020 and it ends in 2023. And that may have taught you a lot about the way in which your mind hinders you, because you have this perfectionist tendency, but also the way your mind hinders you in the ways in which you see your ability to shine in the world. There's so much here, but it all feels like it's like a lot of this feels really, really new. And new revelations, new awareness. And it's just this King of Swords energy. So that key that your past self gave you about being the one to, it essentially, the way that I was showing it was like your whole family told you that the person that you love was not right for you for the longest time. And I'm hearing Corey and Topanga. So it's like you're Corey and Topanga. You knew that this was right for you. You knew this person was right for you, or you knew this path was right for you. And nobody believes in something that can continue on for that long, especially not in the world that we live in, with everything being constantly ever changing. But you knew, and it really did impact you a lot because you had to fight through all of the things that everybody else said about what was right for you and just literally let yourself shine. And I'm telling you, like a Virgo sun shining out is going to be the one light that helps illuminate all other lights. It's such a beautiful energy. And you're starting to learn that about yourself. That's really beautiful. All right, let's see what we have. We've got the King of Pentacles. Yeah, this is about your ability to build a world that you dream of. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning. We've got the Three of Wands. Get a clarifier for the Eight of Pentacles. The Three of Pentacles. Beautiful. And the Two of Cups. Okay, yeah, see the Corian Topanga energy. There it is. All right. So sometimes we get into our heads, and this is a representation of the current energy. This is how your past self viewed you getting here. Right now, what you're being shifted into is this current awareness that you already, it's this knowing that you already have the strength of love on your side. Whether you're in a connection or not, there's something here. I just kept getting Corian Topanga. There's this energy here of a connection. And we've got 3s and 2s. So those may be significant numbers for you. And even the universe reduces down to 3. The star reduces to 8. So 2s, 3s, and 8s are really, really prominent here. That's funny. 3 and 8. 3 and 8 make 11. And this is 56. And that makes 11 as well. You guys are mastering. You're mastering your need to control. That's a really beautiful thing. It's like your past self doesn't really have a lot to talk about the past anymore, which tells me in and of itself that this mindset is literally that one last piece. It's that how can I be so different and still love my family? How can I have all of this happiness and still have my family? There's that energy. And you know what? It's really weird. Okay, this is the first time this has ever happened in the Three of Wands. I looked over here and these are boats out in the water, but I swear to God, it looked like a hand reaching out of the water to me. So this may be you recognizing here. This is something that, okay, this is going to be a kind of tough message. You can love people all you want, but not everybody can come with you. And I'm not one to usually say that if it didn't look like there was a hand reaching out, drowning from the water. But you're standing on the shore and it's this understanding, this awareness. If you dove into the water, you would be sucked down with them. And everything that was built would be for naught. It's also understanding that you don't have to be this hardened figure. You can let that part that wants to control, that part that wants to dictate everything, you can let that go and welcome in new connections as well. So this is a lot about letting a piece of the past version of yourself fall away while recognizing that some people just weren't meant to continue forward on your journey. And I know how hard that is because I do talk about how we're not meant to, like, we don't have to sacrifice in order to receive, but sometimes we are in connections that are just genuinely unhealthy for us. And the people aren't necessarily bad people because I don't really believe that everybody is inherently bad or good. I just think that some people are more lost and unwilling to do the work. And when that happens, then you have to decide, like, can you handle this weight with you? And I know for me, I faced this and I knew I couldn't do it. I knew I couldn't bring this person with me. I knew that it was a friendship that needed to die away because the friendship was taking from what mattered to me. And it was painful for me, but it was something that I needed to learn and something I needed to do for myself. And I'm feeling like this is something that you resonate with. And if it's something that you've been beating yourself up with and thinking, well, I'll never have that kind of connection and that collaboration and that energy again. Yes, you will. And you already have love in your life. But now I know that you want to have that working environment, that physical world environment. So This also could be that you and your higher self have finally seen eye to eye about what you're building, and you're now no longer like trying to control it. And so you are actually collaborating together finally. Yeah, look at this. We've got fighting. So you may have been fighting with yourself, fighting with people in your life, or felt like you just had to fight through everything. Fight through your own mindset. We've got morality. Again, this is the King of Swords, the Knight of Swords. So this is a lot of mental anguish, a lot of late nights, early mornings, and everything in between where your mind and the card 5 with comparison. And then we've got the card 5 with miser. Okay. Underneath that, you guys, is the Master. And I just felt like I needed to show you that. So this is telling me a lot. This is all mentality. This is 100% in your mind. This is, it's that mental handicap energy. And you've really gotten to battle with yourself because anything and everything was challenging you. Challenging what is true to you, what is needed for you. And this morality card is such a beautiful energy. If you guys are here from another pile, I just want to let you know, hi. If not, the energy is so different that I didn't want to mention it, but sometimes when the cards are so resonant, the cards are so similar, then I need to, but this doesn't necessarily match. Well, it kind of does, but I don't know. But what I'm seeing here is you really had to fight off this inner battle. It was an inner battle, and an inner battle of comparing like apples to oranges. Like you can't compare yourself to your family. You can't compare yourself to these friends. You can't compare yourself to a tree. You can't compare yourself to an apple. You're you. And when you realize that, like your morality, your right and wrong, your path forward is yours. It's not anybody else's. So you can't actually compare it. And we do this in the spiritual community all the time. We sit and we pick stuff apart all the time and say, well, you have to do it this way and you have to do it that way. And, those mentalities were really brought into the world from people who had to do it that way because they had convinced themselves and manifested that as being the path. But that doesn't make it the overall universal path. It just meant that was their path at the time. So you're learning how to respect the fact that other people have these beliefs and these opinions and these mindsets, but know that you don't have to fight against everyone. You just have to fight the ones that actually impede upon you, the ones that you feel like challenge your own level of protection, that go against the nature of who you are, that put you into a place where they're comparing you to things and situations that just aren't true. It's about you knowing that you have this I keep hearing level of concern by 21 Pilots. And I also keep hearing Paradise by Coldplay with you guys. So we've got a few cards here and they all wanted to come out. So they literally, well, you know what? Let's keep shuffling. If they even need to come out, they'll come out. But what I'm seeing here is you're now shifting into a state where you've cleaned your head. We've got orphaned, where you've cleared your head enough to know that it's okay for you to move out of the energy and the situation you were in. And especially with this orphan card in the message that you're meant to love your family from afar, unfinished symphony. And see, there's your younger self. It's like there was a piece of you from your younger self. We've got Imagine. Yeah. That got stuck. It got stuck because you felt like no one was there. And when you felt like no one was there, then you had to fight to be like everybody else so that they would accept you. But that wasn't ever how it was meant to be. And if you cling to that too tightly, then you can never actually get into harmony with your higher self. But that's changing now too. Yeah, we've got the 25 round and round. You realize the patterns. That's why I said you realize the patterns and now you're breaking free of it. But with this orphaned card, and we've got orphaned, unfinished symphony, and Imagine, it's literally like you finally broke yourself free, your mentality free, so that you can move beyond the sadness of feeling like you've lost your family. We've got rose, romance is in the air. It's about learning how to be yourself. That's too many. Learning how to be yourself. So we're just getting some like final messages here. Something, perhaps it's the fact that you feel like you're not worthy of love. We've got tree, affairs with your family. Yeah. See, this is the Corey and Topanga thing again. Even though I know that I didn't want to say Romeo and Juliet because it's so fucking morbid. Apple, temptation will test you. Bull, do not back down from opposition. Show strength and fortitude. And on the back, we have the moon, changes in your life. So that's what I'm getting. Like, it's that Corey and Topanga thing that I keep hearing. You know, Corey and Topanga, it's not that they were up against all odds, but at times it felt like they were. And for you, I get this feeling like your heart has felt like you have been up against all odds with your family. It's a very weird message. But when we look at the apple, and I know it says temptation will test you, it's more like, this is a weird message. Did somebody get offered money to not get into a relationship? Like, did your family offer you money to not get into a relationship and then you went against that because you decided like, no, I'm not going to do this? That's something that I'm picking up really strongly here with these cards here. But with this bull, we talked about Taurus and the North Node. It's kind of like the world wanted to show you what was possible with this King of Pentacles. But you're like, okay, that could be possible. But you know what? I'm not going to follow the same patterns as my family. I'm going to change this pattern. I'm going to change this cycle. I'm going to see it and I'm going to change it. Were you guys the ones that I was talking about changing cycles with? No. I think it was somebody else. I think it was a different pile, but I'm losing track of who I've said what to at this point, because, it's pretty late. But I am seeing this energy of like breaking the patterns, breaking the chains, breaking the cycles within your family line. And that came through with your past self. You were the one that had the key. You were the one that was always meant to go this direction. You were always meant to follow this for yourself. And it's about changing the emotions of it, changing the heart of it, changing the soul of it by stepping forth and being like, I'm going to embody the ball and I'm going to say, I know what is right for me. It doesn't matter what anybody else says. Today, you've grown taller from walking with the trees. Like the trees is affairs with your family. Today, you've grown taller from walking through the affairs that you've had to deal with your family. Today, you have grown taller by foregoing the temptation that was testing you to walk away. That's why I got that energy of like being offered money to not get into a relationship because somebody disagreed with it and you decided that you weren't going to follow that pattern. This is a really beautiful energy. I'm telling you guys, your past self just feels like you have just conquered the world because it takes a lot to break free from your family. It takes a lot to break free from friends, especially when you love your friends, but they're just not good for you. It takes a lot. It takes a lot and it's draining and it's emotional and it's hard. It takes a lot. And it took you a lot. And it took you a lot of going around and around and trying to protect what you had and cling to the love that you had until you figured out that you were literally the one that could complete this storyline. You were the one that could imagine a new life. And now it's your turn to bring forth that new life because you've done all the work. You've done all the work. This is one of the most gentle readings I feel right now. It's like your past self is here, but it's part of you now. And that wasn't the message. It feels like an integration message to me. Very much so. I hope this message made sense because I'm really not picking anything else up. And I could try and force it, but I don't think that's right. I'm very proud of you guys. And I know your past self was something. Tense issues. But spirit and your guides are definitely proud of you as well. So pile 2, this is all I'm seeing. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. Thank you so much, Spirit, for Even though it's, early in the morning and you woke me up to do this reading, I want to say thank you, because I do know that when it's time for me to sit down and channel, that my channel I know how much it makes me feel like we got this. No matter what, we got this. We got this. And it's not just me, it's everyone. And you help us all feel that way, because you come through so strong, so often, so frequently for everyone. And you're so well appreciated. So thank you, Spirit. All right. Pile 2, thank you again for being here. I love you so much. If this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box below, you will find links to my author page on Amazon, as well as links to donate to my channel and to book a personal reading if you are interested in that. And let us know down in the comment section below how this resonated. I would love to have your feedback. All right, Pile 2, I love you all. I will see you at my next reading. Bye. Hello, Pile 3. If you chose the third card in crystal, the card Numa and Breath, as well as the Thurisaz crystal, this is the message about why your past self is grateful for you. If you guys can hear, my throat chakra is so worn out, and I have some laryngitis, and I'm trying to push through so that I can finish my filming, just because I'm so passionate about it, and I just love bringing you guys these messages. But something that I did for all the piles is this letter to Pile 3 from the past self. I have a letter that I channeled and wrote down for you. But I also have made myself some tea, considering my throat is the way that it is. My voice sounds the way it does. And it's cold by now, but it definitely still helps because it's got this wonderful eucalyptus mint with it. And each of the tea bags that I used, and I have got 4 of them, have little tags. And so each of the piles have been getting tags. Now, the timestamp that you have is going to bring you in earlier. But I wanted to be really true to the fact that I did not choose these. So I wanted you to see me just kind of wrestling them up. When I do that, I don't actually look at them. So I was not looking when it was selected. But one of the messages that came from your past self says, inner peace creates peace in the world. And I'm going to move that off to the side now. But that's going to be very important. And I wanted to be very true to my process because it could look like it was just a setup. But your past self is coming through really strong here. So I'm going to start with the letter actually before I talk about the card and the crystal, or the card and the rune, for the sake that there is this kind of blending of energies going on with your past self and your present self. And for me to be able to talk about the energies that I'm feeling and what it means, I want to be able to bring this letter out first. So let's get the letter and then we will talk a little bit more. Dear future me / present you, I am right now fuming, wondering what the real point of doing this is. Am I going to make it the next 5 years, 7 years, 10 years? Can I survive this mental torment that long? I know this letter is supposed to be about all that I am grateful for myself for having changed or accomplished, but I just can't see anything changing. Everything hurts, and the more it hurts, the more I feel like a caged and rabid animal. If I can't control this, I might lose everyone and everything I truly love. I know. This is why I was told to write this in the first place. Fine. I can't even get away from the torment myself. I'm grateful for learning to breathe rather than to scream. I'm grateful that I have / you have learned what peace really means outside of all the guru bullshit we've and I've been trying lately. I am grateful I / you are breathing. I am grateful for the life you have chosen to better for us both. Gah. I feel like a third grader writing this. I hope in 5, 7, or 10 years' time, when I read it, I won't see this through the feelings of childish nonsense I currently do. Thank you. Love, me. All right, you guys, I'm going to pause it and let Willow out. There's always one pile where she comes in and it's like, it's time to go. And then I will come back and we'll talk about the letter and the energies of these two. All right, pile 3, I am back. So I'm going to clear this letter off here. And now I want to talk about Numa and breath along with Thurisaz. So one of the things that I absolutely love about the Elder Futhark runes is they are so multifaceted. They are so diverse. And that speaks to you. That speaks to you, my loves. Now, remember that the message that you got was inner peace creates peace in the world. And your past self literally talked about how there was this future projection of you having learned peace, what peace really means. Not what the gurus say, but what peace really means. And I've been there in my life. Now, what I'm seeing with these 2 cards is that you may have had a lot of anger, a lot of reactionary nature. Thurisaz can be about the giants. It can be about Thor. But it's the card of the thorn. So it's that reaction, that automatic reaction, the way that we sting, the way that we hurt, the way that the you know, they have the song Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and I think it's Def Leppard, if I'm not mistaken. And it's all about how every situation in life presents to us the opportunity to get hurt. But sometimes when we are not, and this is going to sound so strange, but when we're not breathing completely, when we're not filling our body with the air that it needs so desperately, when we don't have that breath, and breath comes in multiple ways, not just breathing in and out, but it comes in through inspiration, through innovation, through creation. When we feel like we are lacking that in our lives, we can feel so angry, so pent up, and that rage, it builds and it builds and it builds. And we tell ourselves, if I'm not careful, I'm going to blow up. If I'm not careful this, if I'm not careful that, and then you have to be extra careful. Now you're walking on eggshells. And now you start resenting the people in your life because you have to walk on eggshells. And then you find that thorn and you're just, everything always hurts. But the rose is a beautiful, beautiful flower, and it carries such deep and profound meanings. And it smells like beauty and love and mystery and magic. And everything about the rose, aside from this thorn, is perfect. Everything. The thorn is not there to be a pain. It is there to be a protection. And when you learn how to protect yourself from these ways of believing and perceiving that the world is out to get you, or that everything is going to bring pain, now you change it. You change it. It's like a breath of fresh air finally. And then that spark comes back, that inspirational spark of this is what I can do. And this is what is right for me. And I'm telling you all of this because I've been in the phase where it felt like there was no hope. That everything hurt. I've been in the phase, when I was 22 years old when I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. And it's a chronic pain condition. I was 22. It was on my 22nd birthday. And I remember sitting there and the doctor basically told me there was no hope left for my life. Not one on bedside manner, but still. He pretty much said that there's no cure, there's no real positive treatment. They have a few, but it is what it is. And this is what I'm dealing with. And it was not handled well, obviously, but I lived my life in pain. I am no stranger to pain. this is not just emotional pain. It's physical pain. It's spiritual pain. And that's what I feel the most for you, is that your past self was in the throes of deep, profound spiritual pain. Pain that doesn't ease. It doesn't go away. It just is. It's there and you have to deal with it. So let's see what your past self wants to talk about with that. It says the Seven of Cups with the Lord of Illusionary Success, and this is Venus and Scorpio. And then we have the Emperor with the Sun of the Morning and Aries energy. And this is the Hermetic Tarot card for those of you who are wondering. And then we have Six of Swords, the Lord of Earned Success, with Aquarius and Mercury. And on the back, we have the Eight of Pentacles with the Sun and Virgo. Sorry, guys, I got the hiccups. You guys might have been drawn to another pile because I got the hiccups in that pile too. There's a little bit similar, but not a lot. Okay, so with Venus in Scorpio here and Mercury in Aquarius, this is a head in the heart issue, a head in the heart battling back and forth. Your heart is believing that no matter what success you have, it's painful. This is the illusion. The illusion is painful. And so you tell yourself continually that you have to earn success. You have to be worthy of it. You have to really fight hard to do that. And every morning you wake up and you say, all right, I'm going to cut myself on this thorn again, because again, I mean, you can literally see the flower in the middle of the thorns. I'm going to keep poking this thorn and poking this thorn until I find my success. And you develop this mentality of go, 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 go. And it literally wasn't, it was like that. It was this steady pace. Thorn, thorn, thorn. Because your past self continually said, the only real stability in this world, the only real foundation in this world, the only real truth in this world is pain. Beauty is pain, art is pain, life is pain, love is pain. But that's not, it's just not what your life is meant to be. And you know, and I'm telling you things that I know that you know now. I know you know this because I can feel it, like I'm not that person anymore. I know. Your past self really wants to acknowledge the magnitude of what you've overcome. Because to see the world and to see love and to see life and to see literally everything through the lens of pain and pain alone, and then to come out the other side to get a message about inner peace, creating peace in the world, about you finding peace, to come out the other side and finding peace when you are in this state, the amount of transformation, the amount of depths that you have had to go down into yourself and into your heart and into your soul and really truly into your mind to transform this is not a small thing. And what I am telling you here, and I know I sound very serious, but it's like your past self wants you to understand how not small you are. How not small these things that you did, that you brush off, that you just like shrug off and was like, but that's what I'm supposed to do. Of course it's what you're supposed to do, but that doesn't mean that it isn't something absolutely monumental that deserves to be celebrated. And your past self needed to show you that stark contrast between who you used to be and who you are now, because that kind of contrast is what you need to see. Look at this card. You have a circle in the middle and it's all sparkly and it looks like a disco ball. And then on the outside, it just spreads out into lines. But when you look in the middle, you have the intricacy, the shine, the shimmer, the sparkle. That's what you have inside of yourself. The shine, the shimmer, the sparkle, the intricacy of who you are. And you shine that forth. And the rest of the world doesn't see nearly as much as what your inside world sees. And so for you to go into your inside world and shine it up in that manner, knowing that the outside world is never going to see the fullness of that, that is monumental, because that shows me that you did this not for accolades, not for being seen in a great light, but because you wanted to see yourself in a great light. And so it's okay, and it is safe for you to move beyond this fear of getting hurt again, this fear of the thorns again, and allow yourself to celebrate who you are. We literally have the Three of Cups, you guys. It's the literal card of celebration. It's literally the card of celebration. You cannot make this up. We've got the Lovers, you see, and the Six of Cups. Oh, 6 and 6. This is a rebalancing energy. You've got 666 here. That's powerful. And then the Three of Pentacles. 6s and 3s are really, really strong with you guys. Wow. Oh my gosh. Underneath that is literally the Six of Pentacles. I have to keep it out. I wouldn't have been drawn to look at it if I wasn't meant to keep it out. You guys are in this rebalance phase. And this rebalance phase is a beautiful thing. I get this energy a lot. And I want to say I get it a lot in pile 3s. My pile 3s are just, you guys are like the rock stars of the spiritual world. I just need you guys to know that, because I feel so inspired every time I work with your energies. But we've got 4 6s on the board, you guys. We've got 6, 6, 6, 6. This is amazing. This is intense. So if you take all those 6s, all those rebalancing, and you apply it to the Emperor, and the Emperor is your foundation, it's your roots, it's yourself, it's how you see the world, it's how you come to the morning. And you know, it says the sun of the morning, and I got to tell you guys, this definitely felt like extreme divine masculine energy. I apologize for bumping it. I'm just readjusting my legs. But that was the energy that I picked up so strongly, was divine masculine. And I almost forgot to mention it right up until we were talking about the 6s and having 4 of them. But if you think about it, it's financially, mentally, physically, emotionally, and in the realm of love, these things are rebalancing in your life. They're rebalancing because you've taken the time to really work on the truth, to really perfect it, to bring other people in, to open yourself up to other people. That doesn't take, it's not something that is a small thing. Like it takes a lot. It takes a lot for you to have done that. And your past self is saying, this celebration, this way of moving through the world, this way of celebrating yourself and celebrating others, it is the path to true success. It is exactly what you needed for true success. And you're really, really coming into this beautiful phase where everything is going to just, I just keep hearing it's rebalancing, so that all the times that you have felt like the thorn has hit you, now it's rebalancing. It's like the scales of justice have been tipped. But it's not tipped in your favor or out of your favor or anything like that. It's tipped to heal yourself. And what you're healing yourself from, which it just flew across my room, is the card 8 and guilt. You're healing yourself from the guilt that you felt for all the times that you reacted, all the ways in which your head and your mind was tormenting you. And look, this is literally what that letter was all about, was that torment. That mental anguish. You can see how pained she is. It's like demons clawing at her head, but what she doesn't realize is it's her own demons clawing at her head. And that's what you had to realize. You needed to change yourself, make the decision to change your own mindset. And that's what you did. This guilt factor is so heavy. It's so draining. And then we've got moment to moment. And that's what you did. Like, look at the stark contrast between these two. It's so dark and so bleak and so drab, but there's still that hope up on top. And then she shifts over and it's like, okay, I can take this one step at a time. And that's what you did. You took a decision and you made it. And then you followed through with that decision. And then you made another decision and you followed through with that decision. And you rebalance the scales for yourself internally. Once you do an internal rebalance, the external rebalances. And you find, oh my God, you guys, look, 10 and harmony. Look at the difference between the minds. You literally found peace with your past. Oh my God. On the back of the deck, we literally have the 3 of water or celebration again. Can I not like, can we please acknowledge this? Like, can you please celebrate yourself? I told you, you guys are like the spiritual superstars. That's what I'm hearing. You're like superstar. Have you ever seen the movie Superstar? With Molly Shannon and Will Ferrell. It's a spinoff from SNL, if you haven't seen it. And Molly Shannon, they're cheerleaders. Molly Shannon goes, whenever I get nervous, I stick my hands in my armpits like this. And I pull them up and I sniff them and I go, superstar. The reason I'm telling you that is because she was a just complete and utter, just like nerd. She was a dork. She was made fun of. She was mocked, but she was a superstar and she didn't let anyone else tell her. And to Molly Shannon's credit, that woman had to have bruised herself so much playing that role. There's a lesson. Okay, so she was Molly Shannon in her role in Superstar. She was notorious for just like running in onto the stage and then just flying at things, like flying at a stack of chairs and knocking them all down, flying at them and just shattering everything. And so you have to think like she must have hurt herself so much. She must have bruised herself so much just to play that role. You played a role in your past. That's all you were doing. You were playing a role because that's all any of us are doing. Our egos are the role that we play. And when you realize that you could actually change your character and stop being that way. You didn't have to be that way. You didn't have to hurt yourself in order to be seen. You didn't have to hurt yourself in order to matter. You didn't have to hurt yourself in order for the world to care. You got to be yourself and the world cared that much more. And it didn't matter anymore that the world cared because you found care and concern and creation. And look, you can literally see your progress. All of that mental anguish, all of that mental guilt. I can't celebrate success if I don't see it. And you had to redefine success because no one ever taught you what it looked like. What it looked like that to see every breath that you take as being a success, to see every thorn that you pull out of your skin as a success. No one taught you that, so you had to teach yourself. And when you are the one that is teaching yourself the hardest spiritual lessons that you have to learn, who's there to celebrate you? Even the people that you love, a lot of times don't understand the depths and the magnitude of what it is that you did and what it is that you changed and how you have healed. It's very rare for this kind of journey to be shared with anyone. And I know that because I've only ever shared it with one person, how the depths of this journey for myself, the way that it presented in its own way for me, I've only ever shared it with my husband because you don't know how to trust the world. The world has this propensity to constantly make you feel guilty for feeling good. And you want to feel good. And I just saw 2, 3, 4, 5. And I was thinking about the numbers and how there was progression of the numbers, but they're skipping certain ones. And I actually really love that because to me, we've got 2, 3, 4, and then we skip 5. And then we have 6, 7, 8. And then we skip 9 and go straight to 10. And the thing about that is when we skip 5 and 9, we're skipping numbers that are the change numbers and the pain numbers. You're changing how you work so that you don't have to endure and go through pain anymore. And that's a really big deal. That's just a really big deal. Oh my God. we have the card 12, a change in the wind. Now I can say it again. If you guys were drawn to another pile, this feels like the continuance of that pile though. Then we have the card 14 with truth be told. Ah, there's our 5, guys. That's where the change came in. It came in through the truth. You told the truth. And whether that was the truth of yourself or telling the truth to another person, but what I'm really getting from this, because the colors are so similar, it was like you were locked up in a tower, like Rapunzel, locked up in a tower, and you realized that this tower that you were locked up in was not of your own doing. The tower that you were locked up in was because of something else that happened outside of you. Now, if you guys know anything about Rapunzel and her storyline, Rapunzel's storyline goes that her father stole the witch's flower, and Rapunzel had to make that payment back. And so his daughter got sacrificed and lived in this tower and was locked up until she was saved. Now, I've seen Tangled, I think, once in my life, so I can't speak a lot to it. But what I do see here is you realize that you were locked in this tower, in this dungeon, in this prison, in this cell inside of your own mind because of some truth that someone else told that was their truth, but it wasn't yours. And it took you realizing that you could free yourself by adopting a new truth. Peace doesn't have to be hard to attain. You can choose to be peace. It's something that simple, and it just blew open the doors of your heart. And that's such a beautiful thing, and just set you free. It set you free. Yeah, 34 and a leg up. There's our 7. I love it. That's what you did. You got a leg up in this world. You now have a leg up in everything, but a lot of the times when I see this leg up card, I think of parenting. So you may have gotten a leg up because, no, you didn't get a leg up from your parents. It feels more like you may be a parent. This is for a select few in this group. I don't feel like all of you are parents, but I do feel like some of you are parents. And this truth that you told is now helping your kids move forward. But I'm also seeing that moving forward, your past self wants you to know that you're getting a leg up from your actual past self. It's kind of like this smaller polar bear is your past self and saying, like, I'm going to ride on your back, but we're going to do this together because we are together now. We are one now. I understand the way that things went, and I know that I can get beyond it because you got beyond it and you give me hope. And there's this beautiful, like, symbiotic energy that I see flowing between you and your past self. This is very profound energy. And we have the card 31 with why. Oh, there you go. That's why. You were wondering why it never seemed to balance out, why the world never seemed to recognize it. The world didn't recognize it until you recognized it. It took you seeing your worth, you seeing your potential, you knowing what you could do, you knowing what the truth is. Okay, those are too many, but this one wanted to come out. We're just getting some closing messages. You know what? These have all been really long readings, but yours is actually the shortest. It's great. Oh my God, like stepping into a new experience. I love when the cards do this, when they just come in and are like, yep. So if you're asking why on something, like if you feel that spark of curiosity, there's another energy with this why coming in now. If you feel that spark of curiosity, I want you to take a deep breath. Just go. I'm having a hard time breathing because my throat is so sore, guys. But take a deep breath in, hold it, and then release it and say, okay, tell me what I should look at. Show me, illuminate, bring it to me, bring me to it, and allow the light to shine on it. Because there is something that is calling to your heart, calling to your soul, some sort of creation, some sort of creativity, and it is ready to be birthed through you. It really is. and you are ready to step into that new experience. And literally you have a leg up on this journey now. Casket, someone going out of your life at the end of a situation. You see, the situation is over. We have bag, something important such as a new job or raise. And finally, owl, good advice from a wise person. On the back, we have desk, pay attention to your work. And that's not a warning sign. This is literally saying that it's okay for you to start focusing outside of yourself finally. You've done everything that you need to do. Look, we've got happiness and marriage. Oh my God. Okay, I got to stop. If I keep pulling these, we're just going to go down a further rabbit hole. But what I'm seeing here is as you step into new experiences, you close the chapter. There is this give and take. So this pay attention to your work is really calling you to, I'm going to put these happiness and marriage away. It's really calling you to focus more on what's outside of yourself now, on what you can create, on sharing what it means to you to have learned what you have learned, to have gone through what you have gone through, to have grown through what you have grown through, because it matters. It matters to the world. It matters to so many people. It matters more than you think it does. All right, so we have these mindfulness dice. And I'm doing them with some of the piles and not with the other ones, but Eliza picked these dice out for us to use. And so I'm going to go ahead and use them. Some of these are yoga energies, and some of them are intention setting and whatnot. Okay. So I'm just going to give you guys the yoga ones. And if you want to screenshot and look these up, they may be yoga or stretches or something. So we've got four square and sky stretch. If you want to look those up to work with them, by all means. So we have set intention. And I'm going to read the book on these so that you have the idea of what it's asking you to do. Everything begins with an intention, a simple positive thought with no end objective or measure of success that guides your awareness to an area in your life that craves more attention. Contemplate how you wish to transform your life. Visualize it taking shape in the present and future. Once cultivated, release your intentions into the universe and allow them to manifest over time. And return to them when looking for guidance. So this is about your work. Set a new intention for your work. And then we have take space. It says, free yourself from the obligation of always saying yes. Mindfully choose to say no thank you to the activities and people that are not serving you. Avoid the uncertainty of maybe or will see. You're not a dismissive friend, partner, or coworker if you choose to actively take space. With intention, release your guilt and set healthy boundaries that serve your well-being. I love how much your cards and the dice and everything, all the messages are flowing together, because I did see that guilt card in my head. So this is literally saying, set the intention for what you want to work on. And then take the space from the things that really are so distracting. You know, me right now, I am taking a massive social media hiatus. And no, it might not seem that way because I'm really active on YouTube, but I'm active on YouTube because YouTube is my work. YouTube is what I'm nurturing. YouTube is what I'm building and I'm growing. And so I had to take my focus away from anything that was distracting me from the things that matter. So I have my family and I have my YouTube channel right now. I have my books that I talk about here. So I have all my things kind of narrowed down, and I just needed to take a step back from social media so that I could take that space and really focus on the things that matter. Sometimes it's the hardest thing to do when you do that, because you're being called to really realize the ways in which you get distracted by the world. And this isn't a judgment. If you love social media, go for it. It's not a judgment whatsoever. My husband and I both have actually taken huge hiatuses from Facebook, and we both realized what kind of energy drain and mindlessness we were doing while engaging in it. So it's just a suggestion, guys. Then we have manifest dreams. Putting a dream out into the world is the first step to achieving it. What is one of your dreams? Write this entry in the present tense as if, sorry, I had to yawn, as if you have achieved your goal, and visualize this dream with as much detail as you can gather. Then consider the mindful intentions you can set to make your dream a reality. So this is basically like you're getting all the steps to doing everything right now. Your past self really wants you to be like, okay, this is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. This is what you're doing. Finally, we have be present. And this is a mantra. It says, the moment is all there is. This moment is all there is. As you go about your day, repeat this mantra to find awareness and bring your attention to the now. Notice when your mind begins to wander towards the past or future. Maybe it's replaying a difficult conversation in your head or anxiously anticipating an upcoming meeting. Focus on your breath and your feet solidly planted on the earth. You are exactly where you are supposed to be in this moment. Savor the abundance of the present. All right. So this is about completing that change. And in a big way, I feel like this actually is your past self saying, these are steps that you took, like active steps that you took. And these have given you a leg up because you know the truth of how to work with this energy now. So now when you can feel that change in the wind, now you don't ask why, now you don't question it. Now you just ask, what am I getting called to? What is the inspiration? Why is this inspiration calling to me? You get the advice that you need, but not from anybody outside of yourself. You get it from yourself. So now when you're ready to step into this new experience, you set an intention. You take your space that you need by ending a situation, separating yourself. You manifest your dreams, like choosing to script for something important, such as a new job or a raise. And good advice from a wise person is your past self telling you to come back to the present moment. This is a beautiful thing. This is an absolutely beautiful thing. I did not see how well those work together until afterwards. But that's something that we learn on this journey. Hindsight is 20/20. And sometimes we don't see how well they go together until afterwards. And your past self wants you to know, look at the actions that you took and the messages that are here and how they flowed together. Look what you have done. I'm just the messenger. I'm just showing you. All right, pile 3. This is all I'm seeing and hearing. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. I want to say thank you so much. Thank you to Spirit for these amazing messages, this amazing energy, this true, beautiful example of rebalancing and alignment. I really do appreciate you working through me and flowing through me, even when I can barely talk. Our connection in the work that we do in the world is so important. So thank you, Spirit. All right, pile 3. Thank you again for being here. If this resonated, please hit the like button. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. That way you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the comment section below, let me know how it resonated. Let me know what the synchronicities were. I'm really curious. And in the description box, you will find links to my author page on Amazon, like I mentioned, as well as links to donate to my channel and links to book a personal reading if you are interested. All right, pile 3, I love you all. Bye. Hello, pile 4. If you chose the 4th card and the rune Wunjo and the card conjunctio and conjunction, this is your message on why your past self is grateful for you. So for each of the piles, what I did was I channeled a letter from your past self. So I'm going to read that. But beforehand, I want to talk about this fun little tag here. So I have laryngitis right now. And I'm like on my last leg with my throat chakra. And I just was like, Spirit, please help me push through this. Please help me get through this, because then I have like an entire week off of filming and I can really rest my throat chakra and really just meditate and do my other creative projects that I'm really excited for. Not that I don't love filming, but I've been like woken up every night in the middle of the night to film. And so I'm really like excited for sleep. But first of all, your guys' energy is amazing. But I started doing this thing with tea, where each of my types of tea have different little sayings on them. And I have 4 tea bags in here because I'm blending them together in order to help heal my throat chakra right now. So the tea that you had, because it was from my very first set that I used. So this was the last one, and it said, "Friendship is a sheltering tree." And it's a quote by Samuel Taylor Coleridge. I'm going to set this over here. But what you chose was Wunjo and the conjunction card. And if you look at the conjunction card, you have the essence of the yin and the yang, but instead of the yin and the yang, you have the 2 parts, and they're surrounded by the blending of the rainbow. So you have both the absence of color as well as the presence of color, and then you have all the colors surrounding it to really amplify and highlight the contrast and how they've been brought together. And then you've got these hearts surrounding. So the card conjunction talks about divine harmony, divine union. The Wunjo is literally the stone of joy and union and harmony. Everything about this message, about your reading, about all of it is quite literally talking about harmony. Now with this, friendship is a sheltering tree. This is about you having come into harmony within other places in your life. And now the last piece of the puzzle is literally joyful friendships, joyful community, joyful connections outside of family, outside of work, outside of romance. It's like, I'm seeing dominoes, and this was an image that came through when I was writing Mars's retrograde guidebook. This domino image came through really clearly for quite a while during that book to kind of translate some of the energies, and it's coming through with you guys. So you may be Aries dominant, or Mars may be dominant in your charts as far as aspects go, or you could be a Gemini rising, a Gemini moon, a Gemini sun. And so Mars retrograding in Gemini is really deeply impacting you. You could have Gemini in your 12th or 11th house as well. I'm seeing those. Because this is about, deeper spiritual transformation as well as friendships and communities and groups. So what I pick up from that is this is beyond that 7th house. We're now into the 11th house. We are into the 12th house. We are into taking all of the lessons that you've learned internally and now allowing for it to help transform outside of yourself. And I am being brought to this, the power symbol here. And like I said, I am channeling Reiki throughout all of these messages. So if you do choose to accept it, that's awesome. But I usually have it on this stone, and it fell down, and I noticed it the past couple of readings, but I didn't feel called to change it until just now. And that's because it's literally a message about how you have ground your spiritual power into your life, into your reality. You have really ground it down into this truth, and you've done it in literally every aspect of your life. And now the only aspect missing is quite literally your friendships. I'm trying to get the camera to, there we go. All right. So we are going to read this letter, and then we will get into the message from your past self. And I have to tell you guys, when I channeled this letter from your past self, I felt so resonant with your past self. It felt so much like teenage me. It was so funny, and I loved it. Definitely different, but I have to say, I really appreciate this younger version of you. It says, "Dear future me, present you, I understand this assignment." Did I say that right? "I'm not even going to bother with all the shit going on right now. Just don't tell mom I'm swearing, okay? Here's what I know. I know you are kicking ass at life because you are me and I'm awesome. You shine life like the fuck. Oh, you shine. I think I was supposed to say like, but you shine life the fucking sun You shine life like the fucking sun. And no one gets to take that from you. I want to just point this out. This is what happens when you're channeling. You don't always get the message down exactly as it's going to be, but you'll be able to figure it out in time. This is what automatic writing looks like. Do you remember the dream that you or I had the summer before junior or senior year? And the reason why it's junior/senior year is because I got energies from both time frames, because this is a collective reading, but it's in that time frame. You can apply this to either high school or college, depending on how it resonates with you. Where you were talking to someone and getting asked questions. That was for this. That is why I'm in such a pumped mood. Energetically speaking, I've been waiting for this for a long time. I am grateful not for one piece of you, but for all of you. You are me, and I know that means we are ready to see that dream come true now. Thank you for holding on to something no one would believe but you. Thank you for keeping this moment alive by always thinking back to me. Thank you for shining. I love you, me, us. Thank you. Love me. Okay, so I got to tell you guys, this is why, number one, your past self is awesome. But number two, I had been having dreams and I didn't put the dreams together until I started channeling your past self. But I've been having divination dreams, and one of them was stuck because I felt like I was talking to somebody, but I couldn't remember who I was talking to. And I literally was like, I must have been astral traveling because I had all the same symptoms of astral traveling. I was really like physically exhausted. I felt like I was vibrating when I woke up. So that always happens when like I astral travel and I get slammed into my body. I feel like I am vibrating like from my whole entire being. And so as I was writing this, I was actually seeing the image of my higher self coming and visiting like a group, a collective, a big collective of people. Like we were in some sort of amphitheater. We were talking, and these were things that I was hearing. And as I was channeling this letter, I was like, this is one of the coolest things ever, because I had no idea what it was. But you guys actually have helped put a piece of the puzzle of my dreaming together so that I was able to close that book and that chapter for myself as well. And to me, that is a beautiful example of this conjunction card with Wunjo, because it's all about joyful connections, coming together and blending together joyfully in harmony and in union. So we're going to get messages from your past self about what it is that you had to go through to get to this point. And I am using the Hermetic Tarot, and I know I haven't used this on this channel yet because this is my first ever tarot deck that was gifted to me. So when I got introduced to tarot, it actually did go like traditional. It was back in 2017 and I was gifted this deck. However, I didn't start using it until 2019 because of fear. But every time I touch this deck, it just like comes alive. And I have such a close, loving relationship with it. So we have the Princess of Swords, the Princess of Rushing Winds. Okay, we've got air and earth energy here. And then we've got the Hanged Man. Card 12, and that's the Spirit of Mighty Waters. I love that. We've got Neptune. Oh, you guys got 4 cards. Okay. Princess of Swords, the Hanged Man with Neptune energy, the Ankh, water energy. The Knight of Pentacles, we've got Virgo and North Node energy here. Lord of the Wild and Fertile Land. And then we've got the Six of Wands, Lord of Victory. And that we have Jupiter and the North Node. And then the Ace of Wands is the theme of this, Lord of the Root of the Power of Fire. And I'm not actually seeing any, I didn't think so. It's just fire energy in and of itself. So this is about you igniting that spiritual energy within you. So in the past, what I'm seeing from your past self is there was always a piece of you, a very young piece. We've got the Princess of Swords and the Knight of Pentacles here. So this is talking to me about your younger divine masculine, divine feminine, like your teenage version of your divine masculine and your divine feminine. And here's something that I channeled a while back is we think about ourselves in terms of like our younger self, our teenage self, our adult self. And we go in and we heal our inner child, and that's like us healing our younger self. And then we think, well, in our adult version, we have our divine masculine and divine feminine. Well, in every version, we have a divine masculine and divine feminine. So if we think about healing, like deep, deep healing of the divine feminine and divine masculine, then we want to go in and we want to heal the inner child of those pieces. And I feel like you're somebody who would resonate with that idea. It's something that I channeled and I've only shared with a few people because I'm trying to, work through it. But I feel like this is something that you understand is healing a deeper, it's like healing a much deeper part of your divine masculine and divine feminine energies. And the reason why is because you know that you needed to take a break. You needed to take a pause. You needed to take a step back because your mind and your physical world were at odds with each other. And so you needed to take that step back. And when you did, you set yourself on the path of like abundant possibility, abundant victory, abundant success, because you ignited internally this fiery passion, this fiery drive, this determination, this spiritual energy. And that's really what fire energy is the energy of spirit. So your past self is literally just telling me that there was no particular reason why you did this. You just suddenly felt like, okay, this is something that I need to do. Because we're looking at the realms of friendship, you may have had some really tough friendships. You may have had friendships that challenged who you are, friendships that challenged your boundaries, tested the limits, tested the waters, is what I'm hearing. And it tested your connection with spirit. And so this is telling me a lot that you decided that you were going to choose spirit above and beyond. And that's such a beautiful thing, because when you choose spirit above and beyond, you're really choosing yourself, because you are spirit. We all are. So let's see. Yeah, we have the Tower. You needed to really change your mindset. Like you needed that refresh, that redo. And that can happen. That can happen. I've never noticed that this person has a crown on, but it almost looks like a jester crown. And then we've got the Ace of Cups, so a renewal of love. Temperance. I want to get the cards before I start channeling fully, but yeah, the jester crown really got to me. That's too many, Spirit. Can I get just one to clarify the Six of Wands for current energies, current view of pile fours from their past self. Six of Wands. The Devil. Awesome, 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 awesome. Oh my God, you guys. Oh my God. Yeah. The High Priestess. You guys I knew this. I knew this too. I felt it as soon as I tapped into your energies. I knew it. You guys have some powerful, powerful spiritual gifts. With the Ace of Wands and the High Priestess here, like your whole theme of this is literally like you're stepping into your psychic gifts. You're stepping into this. But what I'm seeing here with this progression is your mind was really, really, really at odds. It was stuck in this, it was stuck in trying to find mode and detective mode and inspiration mode, but you couldn't quite get there. It was like every time you hit an inspiration, you hit a wall. And inspiration isn't meant to be a wall. But when you hit an inspiration wall, then it's like, well, shit, what do I do now? And then it's like, okay, slow and steady wins the race is what I'm hearing. Every time I look at the Knight of Pentacles, even just the title of it up on top, it's like slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. And then you get to that point where you're like, okay, I've been fucking patient for long enough. I've been alchemizing and healing and transforming. When do I get mine? And the truth is that you get yours when you overcome the devil. And that's literally what I'm seeing here. Sorry, I needed to take a sip. But look at the massive level here of spiritual lessons that you have learned recently. Because this feels like, even though it feels like I'm tapping into a past self version of you, like a really true, like 10, 15 years past self is what I'm getting at a bare minimum for most of you. even though I'm tapping into that old, this feels very, very present. To me, this feels incredibly present, as in like the tower has just fallen, or the tower is falling for some of you. But for most of you, it's the tower has just fallen. And you have the tower, the hangman, the temperance card, the devil card, the high priestess. You have every huge major arcana that speaks of spiritual gifts, spiritual awareness, spiritual insight, foresight. And it's all about your mentality here. Between the Princess of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, and the Devil card, it's literally about that chaining of your inspiration to some perception of the slow and steady race. It's like, I can't have what I want unless I really slow myself down and shift this mentality, but I don't know how to shift this mentality. And the only way to shift the mentality is to literally step into your gifts and be like, okay, I don't know how to shift my mentality, but my higher self does. I don't know how to shift my mentality, but my spirit guides do. I don't know how to shift my mentality, but spirit does. And they can lead me how to shift it. And I got to tell you guys, like, I don't know what happened, but I got this at the library yesterday and I started reading it, and it's like a chapter a day, and there are 12 chapters, but it talks about how there are codes written in this book. And I am telling you guys, it literally works. It literally works. And that's how I feel about a lot of the things that I do, is that there's like light codes or something like that, just like woven into it. I can't explain it because I've seen people have reactions like just suddenly have sparks of creativity or sparks of awareness. And I don't know necessarily how it works, but I know it's from me channeling something higher than myself. And so I get led to things that are very similar to what I do. So if you want to take a look at something that can help you get that mentality, you realize that if you don't know what to do, there is hidden wisdom somewhere. The hidden wisdom comes from your higher self. It comes from you opening yourself up. So when you feel trapped, you have to open yourself up. Yeah, see, the mind. You had yourself trapped in the mind. And then you get trapped in the mind, and it's like a monkey maze in there. It's like a rat race. And we're not in this rat race. That's not what we're here for. We've got laziness. Oh, God. And fighting. See, it's literally like your mind was like, well, you can't relax. If you relax, then everything falls apart. If you relax, then yeah, see, breakthrough. We've got another tower card. And then we've got exhaustion. That's why. Okay. Yeah. No, and you know what? The breakthrough card is actually the justice card. It literally is the justice card here. So what I'm seeing here is you didn't, what kept you stuck out of this victory and trapped mindset is you're like, I don't know how to shift my mindset. I don't know how to shift my mindset. If I take a break, I'm being lazy. If I take a break, if I'm not producing, I'm not thriving. I'm not moving forward if I'm not producing. And that was the mentality over and over and over again. And then you would fight your own self. You'd fight your own healing. You'd fight your own like inner knowing that, oh my gosh, I can rest. I can take a break. And something came in and just kind of obliterated it all. It was like just knocking down the tower for you. It was this awareness of like, oh, okay, this is all I need to do. And then boom, that breakthrough happened. And you realize just how tired you've been. This is the 9 of fire or the 9 of wands. This exhaustion card is no joke. This is soul deep. It's soul deep exhaustion of having people use you. Soul deep exhaustion of having people abuse you. Soul deep exhaustion of having people not understand you. Soul deep exhaustion of not understanding yourself. Soul deep exhaustion from trying to fix this mentality and not knowing which way to go. And all you had to really do was surrender to spirit and say, Spirit, you lead me and I will follow. And you ground your power into your being. And once you did that, you literally were able to alchemize this mindset that if you took a break, that you would be lazy. I love my breaks now. I used to be in this energy. So we've got unfinished symphony. And see, this is why you got stuck there. You were like, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. But yes, you are. You needed to be done. You needed to be done. Whatever it is, you needed to be done. And I know we have a bunch of cards, but if they're meant to come out, they'll come out. Then we've got why. This is a collective energy. This is literally the collective energy. If you're wondering why something feels like an unfinished symphony and why it's done, you have to ask spirit. But what I'm seeing here is there's a book here that has wings. And I just talked about a book. You know, we ask ourselves, like, why can't I fix this? It's because there's a resource there, but you're not allowing the resource. Look, the sun is shining, but she's focusing on the book. Turn around and look at the sun. Turn around and see the light. Turn around and see. This unfinished symphony that you believe is there is not actually an unfinished symphony. It's just a mentality that you have. When you sit in this mentality that my symphony is unfinished, then it is unfinished. But if you say, okay, I finished this, I feel this is complete because I am complete, then you move forward and then you don't have to sit there and question why. But when you question why, that question literally comes from what, when, where, why. That question comes from the throat. That question comes from a feeling of not having full self-expression, not having a grasp of how to fully express yourself. And that can come from someone else taking away your shine. And then we've got the card 36 with come to the edge. Why do I have to take a leap of faith? Why can't I just have this? Why can't I just do this? You have to take a leap of faith because in order to make a change, you have to take a leap of faith. I'm telling you guys, I fought tooth and nail to keep vaping. I fought tooth and nail to keep vaping, to keep taking my Ritalin. I kept being like, okay, no, I have to do this. Like, I can't not take my Ritalin because I'm ADHD. And how can I not take the medicine for this condition? But the thing about that is that taking it didn't help me. It wasn't helping me. It was bringing me more anxiety, but then I wouldn't sleep properly. It was over time. When it was helping, but over time it stopped. And I lost this sense of peace. And that's literally what your higher self is talking about, or not your higher self, but your past self is talking about. You had to detonate something. You had to tear a tower down. It may have been an addiction because I keep being brought back to like vaping and Ritalin and alcohol, that I have excised all these addictions from my life. Like, I'm sitting here drinking tea. I don't even have any honey in it. But the more that I do this, the more that the toxins get out of my system, the cleaner I feel, the cleaner the message comes through. It's amazing. And you guys are my psychics. And I don't want to encourage you to change something that you don't want to change. That would be ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous of me to do. But some friendships can be quite toxic. So if you come into this friendship that everything else in your life has suddenly gone well, a friendship can be an addiction too. Like, you guys need to be aware of this. A friendship can be an addiction too. It's called trauma bonding for a reason. You can have friendships that are trauma bonds. It's not just in romantic relationships. You can have friendships that you come together because at some point in time, you guys needed what each other had. You needed the reflection, the mirroring of what each other had within you so that you could heal it. If both of you healed it, then that connection continues. If one of you healed it and the other one didn't, then that friendship, that connection has served its purpose and it's served its time. And that means that it's okay to let it go. And some people won't understand that. But if you understand that, what matters more? What you understand or what the other person understands? What is more important to you? Your peace of mind, your gifts, your connection to spirit, your insight, your inspiration, your intuition, your creativity, or making sure that somebody else feels better at your own cost? If connections feel unfinished, if your work feels unfinished, if your life feels unfinished, ask yourself why you feel that way. Leap off the edge and let spirit lead you, because spirit is trying to lead you straight into a place of peace. And for you guys especially, I'm really getting that, like, this has been such a long time coming. We've got that Knight of Pentacles and it's been such a long time coming. Don't you deserve peace? I feel like you do. I feel like you guys have been through the mill and all you deserve is peace now. So let's see what we have. All of these? Okay. We're going to take the back of the deck first. We have Archway, new opportunities possibilities and paths opening up. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's why you need this piece, because it's time for you to come to the edge, to take a leap off. So we've got June. So this could be something that happened in June or something that is coming by June. Or you know what? We mentioned Gemini. Mars is retrograding through Gemini, and Mars's retrograde starts today as I'm filming this. This is the 30th. So you won't see this for another, I think, 5 days or so. But Gemini is the beginning of June energy, and Mars is retrograding through Gemini until January 12th. So this may have everything to do with Mars's retrograde. I did pick that up. And then we've got basket, recognition, reward for merit, teardrops, great personal sorrow. I am going backwards for a reason, because I feel like these are a story that goes backwards. Sunrise, new creative ideas, new ventures, a fresh start. See? Rainbow. The most difficult part of a situation is over. And then cat, that right there, a two-faced friend. Okay, so you had a two-faced friend. And this is what I was talking about. This is what that breakthrough and that exhaustion card is. You had somebody who literally made your life more difficult. They exhausted you. It's because they were reflecting something back to you that you needed to see. They were reflecting back to you this constant questioning of why things felt incomplete in your life. And it's because, and they came in pretending to be a whole individual when really they aren't. They never were a whole individual. What they were was broken, just like you were broken at the time. Not broken. Okay, I don't believe that anybody is broken. People have wounds that need to be healed. This is a belief that changes on a daily basis, honestly, to tell you the truth, like just continually. But you guys are really aiming for peace. You're aiming for using your gifts. You're really like, I need these new paths to open up. I need this archway here. And look, it almost looks like the egg is in the archway. So if you look at that, the coloring is so similar. So it's like, as soon as you break yourself free of this egg, you're going to be on the path of this archway, this new path. So throughout Mars's retrograde, I want you guys to really think about how to heal this two-faced friend energy within you, how to let it go, because that's what I was picking up from the very start with you guys, is it's time for new friendships to come in, new collaborations, new working friendships to come in. It's time for you to see the realm of friends in a way where friends aren't going to negatively impact you. They're not going to use you and abuse you. They're not going to leave you depleted and exhausted and sick and wondering why it's always been like this, why it's always going to be like this. It's not always going to be like this. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is my pile. I don't always have piles in these readings, but this is my pile. This is where I am at in my journey as well, which tells me that you guys are resonant with where I'm at in my own personal journey, because this is a deeply personal journey. We are all on a deeply personal journey, and we're learning that. But when you have friends that really betray you, you have to stop and be like, okay, Spirit, what do I need to know about this? And what you needed to know, and I realized that it was something that I needed to know, is that I became so worried about what I didn't want to come into my life that I actually attracted it. I didn't want a friend who was going to use me. I didn't want a friend who was going to leave me depleted. I didn't want all of these things. And I kept thinking about that because I'd gone through it so often before. I wanted to heal it. I didn't want these friends, and I wanted to heal the wound. And so in order to get beyond the wound, I had to actually interact with one more friend that would trigger the detonation of the tower moment for me, that would get me out of my mind and help me to understand that it's okay for me to live my life the way that I want. I don't need to make arguments. I don't need to fight on things. I stand up for what I believe in, and then I move from there. And that's what I'm feeling for you guys. This is literally telling me you guys have been through a similar situation. But remember what your past self said. You shine. You shine. You did it all. Your past self had nothing negative to say. No one can take your shine away. No matter how many times you may have been bullied at school, no matter how many times somebody may have bullied you in the real life outside of school, no matter what, no matter how many times you were betrayed and people really hurt you, all of that is over now. And so these new creative ideas, new adventures, and a fresh start, what I'm seeing with that is literally here. Look. Look at how this went. You had this kind of naive mentality that needed to be broken down so that you were able to see that not everybody is always who they say they are. And that really got you caught up in your head, because why would you continue moving forward in the world? Why would you continue helping people? You just felt like this whole world was some sort of unfinished symphony and everybody sucked. And what that literally led you into was just this sense of sadness. This sadness and realizing that there were people in your life that just weren't good for you, that weren't helping you. They were working behind your back. And you know what? I've had that happen quite a bit. It tests your ability to trust anything and everything. And that puts you directly into the hangman energy. But in order to get out of the hangman energy, you have to open yourself up to peace. You have to open yourself up to the offering that Spirit has of love. And Spirit's saying it's not laziness. It's the 9 of Cups. It's your dreams. It's your wishes. It's your goals. So why isn't it laziness? It isn't laziness for you to take a step back and allow people to come to you and fill your cup up, because that's the true nature of receptivity. You're meant to be beyond the difficult part. You're meant for recognition, for people to see your merit. So now you can come out of that phase of questioning, why did this happen? Why did this person come in? Why did they do this to me? Why are they coming back? Some of you may have been dealing with that, much like a Mercury retrograde, but not. But it is mimicking it because Mars is retrograding in one of Mercury's signs. So we're seeing a lot of Mercury retrograde themes with this Mars retrograde energy as well. But it's this return back of certain mindsets that happened during this situation for you, so that you can really move beyond it and see that you've moved beyond it. You've taken all the time you need to take. You have fought a great battle, but you needed to stop fighting against leaping off the edge, against taking that risk. And it may be that you've been doing this since June. You've been like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. And now you have all of these new things coming in. You've got these new creative ideas, new ventures, new starts, it's like the sun every day comes up and it's a new day. And then you remind yourself, I'm in the present moment. I am right here, right now. It is a fresh start to my day today. And every time you tell yourself that, you give yourself the option for new opportunities, new possibilities, and new paths opening up. So with you guys, I'm actually going to use the mindfulness dice as well. There was I think one pile I didn't use these, but Eliza picked them out. So we're just going to shuffle them and see what they say. Okay. So we've got 2 breaths and neck stretch, as well as mindful breath. Okay. So these, you can look up neck stretch. It's pretty self-explanatory. 2 breaths we will read, but mindful breath is knowing about breathing. It's being mindful about taking deeper breaths. And I got to tell you guys that that's something that I noticed once I quit vaping, is I'm much more mindful about how I breathe. I'm much more mindful about when I find myself not breathing. So 2 breaths says, this calming practice deepens your breathing and cultivates concentration. Find a comfortable position and lie on your back with your mouth closed. Inhale slowly through your nose to inflate your belly. Then without exhaling, inhale again through your nose to inflate your chest. Exhale both inhales steadily through your nose, first releasing the air in your chest and then the air in your belly, and repeat the sequence for 3 to 5 minutes. So it helps keep you calm. Mindful breath is just about being mindful. So these are some physical things that you can do, but Your past self is saying, get more rest. You're exhausted, get more rest. Things will be clearer when you get rest. This isn't laziness. It's taking a break. It's safe to take a break. It's safe to rest. When you are someone who spreads peace the way that you do, and peace is such a strong energy for you guys. When you spread peace, you have to embody that peace. And in order to embody that peace, you have to embrace change. You have to let yourself rest. You have to be able to get enough sleep, to be mindful about your breath. These are, and I know it sounds shitty of me to say that, because then it's like, oh, well, how do you know? Oh, well, this and that. I know that because your past self is telling you, get some more sleep. Like get more sleep, take some deep breaths, do some things that actually help yourself, and you'll have that breakthrough that you're looking for. You are right on the cusp of it. It's supposed to be a breakthrough, not a breakdown. Because you're coming into union, you're coming into harmony with everything in your life. You are harmonizing with all the things that you want. So if you want healthy connections, then you have to have a healthy connection with your mind and your body and your soul. The hardest part is over. Now you can let go of all the pains of the past. Let it go, move forward. Allow for the new to come in, because the new is ready to come in, and it is your time and it is your turn for the new to be here. Stretch your neck out, be mindful of your breathing, embrace the changes coming in, and know that everywhere that you go, you are peace, and it doesn't matter what anybody else says. It only matters what you know, what spirit says, and the connection that you have. You are a gifted psychic. You are a gifted medium. You are a gifted healer. You are a gifted person, and you are a gifted creative, and it is your time to create. It is your time to create the communities, the friendships, the connections that you wish. You are stepping into a time in which your life is going to reflect nothing more or less than peace back at you, because you have really cultivated that internally. And that takes so much. You are at the end of the alchemical journey with this conjunction card. You are at that final stage of harmonizing and unifying everything in your life. So allow yourself to do that. You've been on a long ass journey, and now you're ready. All right, pile 4. This is all I'm seeing and hearing for you guys. You guys are freaking amazing. I am honored to resonate with your reading. I want to say thank you so much to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between us. I want to say thank you so much to Spirit. This reading was amazing. I really appreciate the comforting messages, both for the collective as well as for myself, and for helping me see that, you know, I am resonant with a lot of people that are on my channel, and that really helps, because it feels like soul family to me. And you know that it's been a long time since I have been working at getting to this point, and I really appreciate it. All right, pile 4. If this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Down in the description box, there are links to my author page, links to donate to my channel, and links to book a personal reading if you feel so inclined. On my author page on Amazon, you will find that Mars Retrograde Guidebook. I cannot emphasize enough. I know I say this a lot and it sounds like bear marketing. It's really not. If I feel it, I'm going to tell you. Spirit is literally like, you got to push this on this pile. So I use my own guidebooks, but you know, I build them. So I'm biased, but I trust Spirit on this one. So pile 4. I love you guys. Please let me know down in the comment section below how this resonated, and, you know, do some sort of soul family, something or other, because you guys are definitely part of it. All right. I will see you at my next reading. I love you all. Bye.